everybody. Okay, so I'm back. I think I might be having some technical difficulties, but y'all should let me know if y'all can see me or hear me. Okay, I see my bubble moving, so I think y'all can hear me. Type in the chat if you can hear me. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when I go live again. I hope to be live much more often. Okay? Somebody type in the chat something because I can't see anything coming through. But yeah. I've been missing I've been missing talking to everybody and talking to all my ladies and just like being here. I've been in the clouds though. So for all of the content creators that's been doing some amazing work over the past couple weeks, like I be in the clouds. I be liking the video. Okay. Okay, good. You can hear me. Okay. Let's drop that link. Hey Mella. How are you? Let me see. Yeah, let's have a panel. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and drop this link right away. My girl Cheri Dani is with us tonight, and we want to have some conversation. Hey, Gigi, baby girl. Okay. I even put the group on pause on Facebook. I just needed some time to disconnect. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I hope we can talk about that in the next few days and weeks and months that we'll have together. Yeah, I've been missing y'all so much. So I dropped the link. Anybody is welcome to come up. Want to have a little conversation about this past week. Okay. Now, hopefully we can do this every Friday, okay? And we can just have a little girl chat, okay? Now, it's been a lot of stuff going on, okay? I mean, it's some big elephants in the room that we ain't gonna mention, okay? But in this weekend review, we can talk about everything, okay? Let's be respectful though, but let's share your opinions. What is the tone of the community of the space right now? Like, what's going on? It's weird time. So yeah, and of course, y'all know we gotta talk about the grandfather getting up out of here. Okay. And this is not a celebratory stream, okay? We are not celebrating his death or nothing like that. And I honestly think that men are trying to gaslight us by saying that we're celebrating just because we aren't mourning and sad and crying and grieving doesn't mean that we are celebrating his death. I think that the guys, like, y'all find any little reason to like try to start some drama, okay? We don't care. I mean, it's unfortunate because death is unfortunate. But I mean, that's y'all's granddaddy, okay? That's y'all's grandfather. All right. Um, so yeah. Oh, let me add you, Cheri. Okay. Can you hear me, girl?
Hey, what's up? What's up? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you, beautiful?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Can you believe it?
Girl, it was the shock that went around YouTube.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I was really in disbelief, to be honest, at first. I'm like, why Kevin be trolling folks like this all the time, trying to get attention?
You say
Okay.
he was
Huh,
you say he was trolling.
I thought he was trolling because he always like his whole everything been about shock about at our expense. So when I was talking about the guys gaslighting us and stuff about saying we're celebrating it, not many of them, okay, stood in the gap for us when their godfather was going ham. Okay. It took a lot of women, coming at him and really making a fuss online. It took a lot in order for them to even know that they were out of line. And I still don't even think that they believe that they're truly out of line. And I don't know what it would take to convince them at this point.
For sure. It's like we don't need to try to convince them. I mean, when he did that domestic discipline,
Girl.
I was too through. I was over it. I was like, okay, we on his ass. That's this. Okay, it's up and it's stuck. It's nothing
Mhm,
else to discuss.
mhm. And do you know it's still people commenting on videos as of like the other day, claiming that he didn't promote domestic violence or anything. And it's like, like, wow, you know, how
They don't
stupid
want you
it
to
is.
believe what you see. It's like that was clearly it. He said, say so Courtney knows she can get on one. See, I can remember it almost verbatim. Courtney
Girl.
knows she could get on one. And you have your safe word. What was it? What did he say? Banana split. And she heard you say banana split.
Mhm,
And she stay on one.
mm,
And it is exactly what it sounds like. You
mhm.
put her across your lap and you go whack.
Ugh, and that was okay.
And that was okay.
That was okay. Hey, Mela, I see you back there. Thank you for coming up. I don't know yeah, there you
Okay, I'm going back on mute until you call for me. But
okay.
I have some things to say. Nice
Okay.
to meet you, this life, and
Hey, nice to meet you too, Mella. Go ahead.
thank you, Goldie, for welcoming me.
Oh, you're so welcome. You always welcome.
I wanted to emphasize a reminder.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if I'm echoing. It sounds like I'm echoing.
Yeah, a little bit. I hear something.
Maybe I should come back in after I say this real quick. Black men think we are most powerful and they are paranoid about it. That's why
Mm,
they go so full throttle with with any attempt to disenchant anybody
mm,
globally from being attracted to us because our words speak life or death. And
mm,
they've gone so far as to assume that somebody congregated enough to wish Kevin Samuels death. This is how paranoid black men are. And so the fact that women are not mourning, that means that they want to assume that we're complacent with with the fact that he had an untimely demise, and that's not the case. Just because
mm.
somebody had an untimely demise, that doesn't mean that we were just walking around in our everyday life wishing death on somebody. Okay,
Right.
that man did not know how to care for his health. That's
Mhm,
all it is. Now, he played it off real good. Okay,
mhm.
he played it off real good. I
But
mean,
you know what, Mela? If you really pay attention to him, and I did because I'm very observant, the signs were all there. The signs were all there. And
absolutely.
yes, and there are a lot of like rumors and things coming out. And when you really think about it, the signs have been there for a long time. And a lot of times, his subject matter would let you know exactly what was going on with him behind.
Exactly. A sick mind talks about sick things. Absolutely.
Mhm,
And another problem that men have due to their testosterone
mhm,
fluctuations is the invincibility complex. Like they just believe they're invincible, like when they were 19 years old.
mhm,
And I got news for brothers. Like, you're not 19 anymore. There's no such thing as being invincible. And a
mhm,
lot of guys, they think that they can go around and treat their body like a disposable processing plant that's
mhm,
gonna automatically sort and dispose of things automatically, and that's not the case. You have to make sure that you conduct yourself in at least 7 realms of health minded
mhm,
activities. and
mhm,
and he was not. Now, then again, I'm not going to discount the fact that people should have ambition.
mhm,
Okay, people should have ambition, and if he locked himself up into a situation where, wow, I'm not going to start nothing that I can't finish. As a matter of fact, I'm going to rev it up because when he first started, he was very humble in
Mm-hmm.
appearance and very modest in his statements. And he just wanted to encourage Black people to get their act together. But
Mm-hmm.
then he, when he started getting momentum,
Mm-hmm.
he revved it up. And unfortunately, the energy that it takes to do that
Mm-hmm.
has to be governed in a particular way as opposed to a fast way. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So I'm not going to address the rumors as to how he passed on. What I will say is that in the interest of longevity, you have to do it the right way because none of us are invincible. And, God rest his soul in peace. And as far as all the things that he said and did to make him look totally abominable, I'm sure that there are those among us that have done the same, if not worse, at some point in our lives. And I choose to believe that he knew what he was doing. He just felt like it was too late to turn back now. In terms of his rhetoric.
Girl. Now, listen, rest in peace to Kevin. Okay. Death is so unfortunate and it's permanent. Okay. Nobody wanted Kevin to die. Me, I've been making the videos and, talking about him coming off of YouTube and Instagram and stuff. But I mean, he ain't had to die. You know what I'm saying? I mean, now, like, it was just like, my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have to die, okay? But to think that he didn't know what he was doing or to neutralize in any way the impact of his words, okay? And what actually took place during the reign of Kevin Samuels. I think that I'm going to get myself in trouble with this, but I cannot let us in our grief, and I will be included in, you know, feeling a sadness that he did pass away. But I cannot have a platform, a computer connection with a YouTube account and allow anybody, men or women, to pretend as if Kevin didn't really cause some destruction while he was here. Now,
Right.
I would have this conversation a week from today out of respect for, everybody and their feelings and stuff, because I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but I'm not going to be able to be okay with people pretending as if he was ignorant to the impact of his words and actions. Now, come on. Mela, okay? I'm trying to be nice. Hey, let's try. I'm trying to be nice, but and
Hey, Lestro.
I don't want to drag him today, but I will though, because I ain't finna pretend like he wasn't cutting up now. Okay, but go ahead. I'm
And
sorry.
yeah, that's the thing of it all. It's not that we're being um well, this particular panel, I'll put it that way. This particular panel is the intent is not to be vicious, right? However, we're not going to excuse ill-minded behavior. And this is the thing, right? It doesn't even have to be a revenge thing because there are brothers that are out here saying, sisters, still don't know how to act type of, controversy in terms of what they choose to focus on. They want to focus on, instead of just announcing what, if they were a quote unquote fan, instead of announcing what they appreciated about the man, they will still want to focus on us and what we're saying. And what I would say to that is you got to put this thing in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That man made a conscious decision to have a display, a spectacle, right? Have a spectacle. From what I'm understanding, a lot of the women that were featured on his streams were paid to do it. You know,
No,
these weren't just random women that just showed up like, hey, I'm looking for a man. Can you help me? Oh, you know, it wasn't like that. Like these were orchestrated guests.
no.
Okay.
Nella, where did you get that from?
And some of them were not. It
Okay.
yeah, so
What,
it was
what,
so let's keep
so like,
no, we're not gonna act like he wasn't putting on a show. Okay. He was putting
At
on a
our
show.
expense. At our expense though. And I don't want that to be lost on any of us ever. Okay? Because black women suffered immensely for Kevin to rise. Okay? And I want to make sure
that's
that we
Yeah.
right.
do that.
Yeah, he definitely beat up on our image, and then people are like they're acting like there are no consequences for beating up on our image. Like, you know, it's kind of like the early days years ago when I first innocently approached panels that were supposedly co-ed, but in fact it was just an opportunity to just verbally abuse women. And I because I was new, and we're talking like 5 years ago at least, because I was new, I didn't know that was the strategy. The strategy was to lure women, and I'm being for real about this, lure women onto a panel with this so-called discussion about, an open topic. And then you approach the panel, and next thing you know, they're badgering you
Mhm.
to the point where you're asking yourself, wait a minute, this isn't friendly. What the hell is going on? And then next thing you know, they start revving it up into talking under your clothes
Mhm.
and saying things that are just absolutely
Mhm.
less than polite. I'll put it that way. They're saying things that cause irreversible, unforgettable moments,
Right.
right?
Yes.
And so are we supposed to behave as if, oh, they was just in a bad mood? No, no. There is see, they're talking to us about they're not being accountable. They're not being held accountable. No, there is a proclivity of men to push the envelope, to, as they say, poke the bear, all that kind of stuff. They do that. They prod and they try to see what they can get away with.
Mhm.
They do that. They practice these tactics of, let me see what I can get away with regarding this woman. And
Mhm.
and they take it too far. And when a particular woman, thankfully a lot of us are able to retaliate, then they get their feelings. See, black women, they just not feminine. They're not. It's like, hold on, you get what you give. If you're coming at me as an opponent, I'm gonna give you the game of your life,
Mhm.
okay? And that's just what it is. I
Mhm.
don't choose to be aggressive. You are forcing my hand,
Mhm.
and and to impose these gaslighting tactics that they're not forcing our hand to
Mhm.
stand our ground is
Mhm.
it's intellectually dishonest.
Yeah.
They know they're gaslighting us, just like you said. They know that they're just hoping they can get away with it, and they're not going to get away with it. So no, nobody has to mourn his passing. I'm speaking about KS.
Mhm.
However, I choose not to speak ill of the I choose not to speak ill of him, because that is sad to think that he had ambition and it had been snuffed out due to his lifestyle of bad choices.
Mm-mm.
It's like because that could have happened to anybody.
But
And
yes, it could have happened to anybody, but that doesn't erase what it was yesterday. And I think a lot of times in our community, we do ourselves a great disservice and we take a lot of progress away when we don't, really be honest with ourselves about who we are and who and how we lived our lives, how we were in life. To sit here and be like, oh, he was just ambitious and he, had a plan
he
and
was ambitious. I'm not sitting up here trying to be.
he did, Mella. He did.
He
But
was
he said,
ambitious, but it was in the wrong direction. I
no,
know that.
in the wrong direction. It was an intentional decision to step on the necks of Black women for the world to
We
see.
know that. We know that. And
For
that's
the,
why we don't, that's why we not sitting up here throwing, that's why we not sitting up here, you know, crying over it, like because like a lot of us didn't know him personally. Those who knew him personally knew that
oh, you went out. It sound like you borging a little bit.
Was it her or was it me?
Girl, it's her, and I want to know what she was saying because she said those who knew him something, and I want to know what she was saying about
Because
them.
I mean, Goldie, you being so good about it. Because
am I
if this wasn't your panel, I'd be saying something totally different. I'd been done jumped out the window. I'm telling you, because look, I was on Michi such, right? And
Mm-hmm,
she was talking about how black women are acting up. We didn't want to support Obaselli, right?
mm-hmm.
You
Wait,
know,
you
Becky,
talking about Michi X?
yeah.
Oh, girl, I
And
love Michi X.
yeah, but she talking about we need to support Obaselli and Becky with the good knife. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
may
Okay,
he
what was her
rest.
reasoning behind that? Because a lot of people are saying that the strategy that Black women are using is not is not a good long term game, and I have my thoughts.
who said we using the strategy? We just telling it like it is.
Well, just Black women. Okay, first let me say, I personally feel like we should not show our hand. We tell everybody exactly what we about to do. Everybody know what we doing right now because we talk so much about everything that we about to do. But the strategy that they're, saying we're using by,
I don't tell people nothing
well, I'm talking
personally.
about in like, for example, Clubhouse.
I
I'm
agree with you.
often, but they be going all the way into it. You know what I'm saying? And I guess it's necessary. But anyway, the strategy of not protesting, not making a fuss, like Michi was saying, not representing for the Urban Sully guy. They're saying that we shouldn't do that. That we should.
He shouldn't have said that he wanted mixed children, drug me every way from left to right. And no, I am not going to be out here putting myself on the line for people who don't like me, whether I'm the mother of black sons or not. That means I'm going to do the best I can to raise my black sons to be better men as
Mhm,
they grow up and moving forward. But everybody's issue is not my issue, especially when you don't support me. So your preference sent you back to the ether. You got to deal with that. And then the Godfather,
mhm.
okay, winter came for House Samuels, okay, and he got up out of here with his BBW preference.
Girl, did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Mhm.
want to talk about that right now, but just
Yeah.
like,
That's why I said his whole shtick was a performance because all along he wanted that big woman. That's what he wanted. That big woman, you know. But let him tell it. A big woman is what do you call them? Left behinds or something like that.
I
Gonna
mean,
die alone and all that craziness. When all the while he wanted everything that he told people is not worthy of love.
mm,
It's crazy. It was a performance.
mm.
Bravo.
But
Uh
I
in
often
the
think
upper room, brother. Bravo in the upper room.
about he should. I guess people been giving him props for his genius plan. Okay, but I often think about what else was fake. In terms we know that he been lying. Hey, real lady Angel, I think I'm gonna go ahead and add her to the stream. Okay, ladies.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Hi. Hi.
Hey.
Good evening or maybe good night in your I guess area. Yeah, so I just wanted to chime in and just say that a lot of Black women, they don't feel that what has currently happened to him, um, they don't see the need to or feel the need to have any remorse for him because of how he treated us and how he would demean us for every little thing.
Mhm.
And it's like he always would have a negative response um for something that is unwarranted of that.
Mhm.
And we could be accomplished, we could have careers, we could be genuine, we could be all that, and he would just find every way to demean us, whether if it's slapping sound effects,
Mhm.
whether if it's saying that our looks, we are below like a 5 or average at best.
Mhm.
um and it just like nothing that we ever do is ever enough for that man.
Mhm.
Now, some say that he's doing that is just all for entertainment, but I think that what he's doing is he's trying to get retribution
Mhm.
um, by just disrespecting all types of women, women that don't know him from a hole in a wall, women that never met him. They just genuinely wanted some tips from him. They felt like, he looks like a decent looking guy in their opinion. They feel like, oh, he has on a suit on, he speaks so well, he's so eloquent, and he looks like he's living the nice life and everything. And maybe he can pass on some gems and be genuine without it, without being so cold, without being so ruthless. And he has a track record of just being very mean to us. So when this happened, even though as for me, like I have my own opinions about him. I didn't like his character, so I'm not going to be like everybody else and then just like rejoice and everything. um but in there it from the collective of Black women that were attacked by him, they just felt like, well, what's the point? Like, he treated us bad, he told us we were average at best, he told us that he basically made them feel like they are nothing and they're gonna end up with no one. And if you look this way and you make this high income, you're not gonna get a partner of your status and stuff. And it was just so cruel, so and it's like unfortunate. Oh, I'm sorry, does anyone wanted to say something?
Yeah.
He told Black women that their education is not important. That's how deep he went with his performance. Like, he just, whatever it took to make Black women look bad, he was willing to do it. And it's
Mhm.
shameful.
Exactly. He went below the belt, and yet he was reportedly with someone who happened to be a nurse who was a non-Black woman. Everything that he's shaming us for, it doesn't matter what profession it is. You can be a lawyer, educator, or even a OnlyFans. Doesn't matter. He will find every single thing to shame you for. You can have no like you can be spotless, and he'll just find something to come against you for. And that's just and that's what just kind of pains us. It's like, why do you attack us so much? Why do you have so much vitriol to us? What did we do to you for you to constantly say that? Some
Mhm.
on the
Mhm.
outside it can look like entertainment, but on the inside it's like, no, it's something deeper. But he wants to try to glaze it like it's entertainment, glaze it like, oh, he's just making his coin or whatever. No, you have to look into something deep, because I will tell you this: if it was other groups of women that call into his show, or if it was celebrities rather, he would dare not
Mhm.
say that they are average at best. He would not demean them.
Yeah,
Like
and he
when he
proved that.
yeah, oh, continue, I'm sorry.
No, and he proved that. That's what I'm saying. He proved exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But when you talk about like, first off, with everything that everyone saw, like the world saw Black America, Black American women go through under, Kevin's little pursuit of fame and fortune, um, I just cannot believe that they have the nerve to try to shame us for being indifferent. It is just so shocking to me. And another thing is that I don't think that Black women understand just how traumatized we have been by um, Kevin Samuels and his followers over the past 2 or 3 years. Like, we are going to need so much, in my opinion, women who have been following Kevin and that whole group should really think about talking to somebody, some therapy. Like, women are broken, and a lot of us don't even know it just by Kevin's pursuit at fame and fortune.
Yeah, we made this man $1 million.
Yep.
Do we know of anybody's channel that is saying what they went through after being on his channel?
I heard, and this is alleged, I heard that some of these callers were bought. Some of them.
Yeah, some of them were.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hearing that too. And even if that is true, when we talk about the Black woman as a collective, we all pay the price for that. Each and
Yes,
every
we
one
do.
of us. You know, so it goes beyond whatever fee he may have given to the actress or whatever. But just the at one point in time, his interviews with women were downright every single stereotype you've ever heard about a Black woman. I mean, just the most degrading, scenarios set up. And it was sickening. And we all paid the price for that. Because when non-Black people try to understand the Black woman, they pay attention to what's said about the Black woman.
Well,
If it was us
Goldie,
ourselves, if we
I
want,
got something to say when you finish, please.
okay, if we weren't up here defending ourselves, the world wouldn't even know our side. They wouldn't even, those articles that were written about the manosphere, which Kevin Samuels was a main leader of, um, those things would have never happened if Black women weren't standing in opposition to all of this BS. And I just cannot believe that it was allowed to persist like this. And I cannot believe that so many Black women also joined in on it. Like, we don't know how abused we have been over the past few years. Go ahead, Mela. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I had found through hearing another video that the majority of his viewership were women.
Mm-hmm.
That was disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out what is it about. Okay, I understand investigative curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get that part. However, for those that are sensitive to information that causes them some type of distress, you really have to just walk away from it. You know, if you like, knowing that he exists is one thing, but consciously tuning in to keep up with what he's saying is another thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found that um he he started to propel once he did that average at best thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
prior to that, he was just another manosphere guy talking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that average at best thing got that viral boost,
Mm-hmm.
that's when people started, revving up his numbers. And I think a lot of women who believed that they were conducting investigative curiosity wound up getting their feelings hurt, because at the end of it all, Black men in these spaces don't like women.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have a problem with doing whatever it takes to announce in some type of way, form, or fashion that they don't like women.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They like they like the opportunity to use women.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about actually liking a woman. There's a difference between I like using you versus I like you. There's a difference, And he just basically found making money, and he doesn't like women either. So, making money off of degrading black women, I want to talk about that. Why is it so popular and profitable to degrade us? Like, what's up with that? Like, why is it? I hear black men saying, "What about us? What about us?" I hear black men saying that. Well, I'm not a black man, so what I will say is, what's up with the concentrated effort? It's damn near industry. It's damn near industry to talk crazy about us. That's how far it's gotten. That's what he represents to me. He's establishing the foundations of what could be an industry for talking crazy about black women, and I don't appreciate that at all. Like, you're not gonna get paid making me and my sisters look bad, okay? And the fact that he had the majority of women as his viewership is disturbing to me. It's like, what is it about us that has this investigative curiosity when we could actually just, make our vote by walking away? Like, we, at some point, we have to walk away from these guys.
But
Go ahead, babe.
Thank you so much for letting me jump in here. In my opinion, the walking away part is what got us to where we are now. Okay. Like, when I first heard about this community and stuff, it was like probably like 7, 8 years ago. And the thing was, the girls just ignored them, whatever, forget about them. But us forgetting about them gave them time to do everything that they're doing now and to build themselves into the positions that they are in now. And it has become dangerous for women out here. Now, I'm not going to say it's 100% because of the guys that it is become dangerous, but they play a big part in it, and we got to be honest about that. Ignoring it is not helping. And you know what? I really, I'm gonna promise myself to come and try to talk to y'all once a day so that I can get all my ideas out here. But that's one of my issues with when we talk about divestment and all of this type of stuff. Just ignoring black men or leaving them alone is not the answer. We gotta force them to get their shit together, okay? Because they impact every part of life, okay? And ignoring them doesn't make them stop. They got to get their shit together, point blank, period. And there's no more time for distractions like Kevin. Kevin came on the scene and made them feel like they were justified in all of their BS and all of their excuses and laziness and refusal to do right and lack of desire to do better and lack of desire to want to have more and achieve more and attain more and have success and all of that type of stuff. He made them feel like it was okay and that women should accept them as they are. They've been talking about you can be a stay-at-home wife with your husband making 40K. Somebody had a video the other day talking about 70K is enough. Like, they don't want to talk about 200 or 350K. They don't want to talk about real investments in portfolios. You understand what I'm saying? And ignoring it, no, like, that just gives them time to sit there and perfect their little angry revenge plots on the fact that we're not paying them no attention. We got to call attention, like we've been doing, to the fact that they are lazy as hell and they last in every category. And 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 put it out there in the open. Now, if they don't like it, then they got to do something to fix that. But now, when you talk about the women that were in his audience, those women believed him. Those women felt like it was something wrong with them as to the reason why they didn't have a man, or why they couldn't keep a man, or why the last man dogged them out, or why the man took advantage of them. All of those women that you say, I think you said 80% of the women in his audience, I mean, people in his audience were women or something. All of those women were coming to him for answers because they felt flawed within themselves, as if they didn't have the power within to change their circumstance. They came to him so that he could tell them what was wrong with them. And he took every liberty available to him to do it. And while he was doing it, he tore not only that particular woman down, but every woman in her image down. And it affected the collective of us. So those women were abused. That's why I feel like a lot of women are going to need some counseling and therapy behind this. All of those women that were making these videos talking about, yeah, but he got a point, or the benefit of the doubt, or he right about that. All of those women gonna need some therapy. All of those women are traumatized and they don't even know it yet.
There's a sister that's a board certified psychotherapist named Tracy Marks, right? And she's married to a Caucasian man. And she has a channel. Her name is Tracy Marks, Dr. Tracy Marks. And she's board certified in clinical psychology. So for anybody that might be looking for a sister that is open-minded enough to explore her options to the point where she is successfully married to a man of a different ethnicity and they have a child, at least one child, and she also keeps it authentic by sometimes throwing in personal stories about her frustrations as a mother and how it's all right to be concerned about yourself. There's no self-sacrificing here, so she's an authentic woman because she shares personal insights as well. So if anybody's, if they want to seek therapy, if they want to get their toe wet in the realm of considering therapeutic channels, that where a person might be relatable, Tracy Marks is her name. So I'm glad you said that because it didn't occur to me that there are women that may need, therapy, but they just don't know how to go about it. And since they're on YouTube anyway, they might as well just, start looking up relatable health clinicians in that field, relatable health clinicians,
Okay, what I want to bring up is, can we look at a correlation between Kevin Samuels' rhetoric and the black femicide numbers?
Great
Oh
point.
yeah, I accuse them of being directly responsible for femicide numbers going up. And I'm saying that out loud right now because I've heard men over the years idolize their ideations of committing physical crimes against women are being announced on panels, you know, and it's you know, they want to emphasize how they will brutalize us and eventually some imbecile will digest that and commit some type of crime in reality, and next thing you know they caught up. So I just, but see, now they're trying to back away from that responsibility. It's like, wait a minute, we just talking. Remember that New York guy, and he's affiliated with the Manosphere, and we saw some of his videos and how hateful he is. And now the man, it's like, look, we just talking. We just talking. We ain't got nothing to do with how people conduct themselves after they listen to our live streams. That's crap. You are responsible for what you say as an influencer. And so I attribute the rise in homicide against women. I'll put it, the correlation is kind of suspicious. So I agree with you, sister. Thanks for bringing that up.
Oh, no problem, for sure. I mean, it's just so many things that we can look at when it pertains to Kevin Samuels, his rhetoric, it was deplorable. I mean, everything that we've been through, and we just have to look at this too. When you were saying, why is there an industry created around tearing us down, berating us, degrading us? Do you see any other woman in America going through that? No, because their men don't do that. Asian women date out way more than black women, but their men don't even talk about it. It's not even the issue because Asian women decided a long time ago that they were going to do what was best for them, and they didn't care what their community thought, how their community felt. Black women, we were so race loyal for hundreds of years until now. This is like a shock to them. And it's not that our behavior is so out of order compared to other women, because I know y'all probably remember Girls Gone Wild. White women was acting a whole fool outside naked, showing their breasts for beads and stuff. And white men didn't like that. You know why? Because when he sees that woman, he sees his mother. And he's not going to allow his women to be out here shaming him. White men had that show canceled. And so these are things that we just need to think about when we're giving blind race loyalty.
Girl, do you remember that that guy even ended up in jail for some reason? I don't know if it was because of his videos or whatever, but he actually went to jail too for some reason.
Who? What guy, Gold?
The Girls Gone Wild creator.
Oh yeah, he did. I think it had something to do with some SA.
Mm, mm.
Something along that line. And so, again, like I'm saying, uh, if our men are not going to protect us, then we just have to see what it is, and we have to make our next move our best move.
But with that, it comes, and I was talking to you about this earlier. It comes with following a criteria for allowing people into our lives. Because, hold on for one second, y'all know I'm having a sleepover.
Okay.
It comes with following a criteria for allowing people into your life. Because if we did that, then we would understand where people are and understand their reasoning, their possible reasoning for interacting with us. If people have really vetted Kevin out, stop. Kevin and any other person out. Think about the divorces. Think about the child support. Think about the lack of relationship with the daughter. Think about the lack of the strong employment history. Think about all of this stuff, and really be honest with yourself and really really give yourself time to see past the image. I think it was Mela earlier was talking about that Kevin looked good, he was handsome, he had on the suit, he was well spoken, and people just took to him easily. And that's one of the mistakes we make. Whether they're wearing a suit or the hottest fashion and they look good and they sound good and they talk a good game, baby, we always think that means that they are nice, good people. And really, they're not. It's just clothes. We got to get deeper into examining the character of these guys. And once we do that, we'll see that somebody mentioned earlier that a lot of the guys in these spaces aren't, happy or healthy or whole or ready for relationships or even like women. And if we really looked at character, we would see exactly what that person was talking about.
You're absolutely correct. Oh, I'm sorry, real lady. You want to go ahead?
Oh yes, and I like how uh, I'm sorry. I think something it kind of slipped my mind up. It probably get back to me later, but I wanted to mention that character is something that what that is not emphasized a lot in the male sector, especially with the black male sector, and they focus so much on the exterior. They focus so much on the fact that because of their social status, they can try to treat women however they feel like. Um, I forgot this woman's name, and she's a non-black woman, and she was asked to come to Fresh and Fit. Um, to I guess to join them in one of their shows and stuff. But one of the guys from Fresh and Fit tried to seduce her, and he was saying that, oh well, there's not a lot of high value men, so you might as well just take advantage of the opportunity. Come to LA or whatever, wherever they from. And then she's like, That's incorrect. I know plenty of high value, high caliber men. What are you talking about? So because he couldn't get what he wanted from her, that's when he started calling her all type of derogatory names of the book, the B word, the this word, the that word, and everything. And um, she she was on the verge of carrying a child, like she was pregnant and everything, and that was before that, that was when he said these derogatory things about her while she was carrying that child. And when she said that on YouTube, that was when her group of men defended her, and they were really giving Fresh and Fit a rude awakening. So I'm not too sure if that was that. I think that's one of the reasons why they're now doing an investigation. But since it started to trickle up to the Elle magazine, and when they did the reports on that and started to based on an article about what the girl had, some other girl had um, witness, not witness, but interact with someone in the manosphere, that was when they started getting really, really heavy on them. So of course you're gonna expect them to be fake. Of course you're gonna expect them to say, "Oh no, I'm not a part of the manosphere. I would not do that. I was just saying this is just all hypotheticals. Oh no, we're just chopping it up. It's nothing serious. Yeah, it's nothing serious." Until you may end up getting caught. So they can delete all their videos if they wanted to. They can try to retract, or they can try to reformat or try to change their whole narrative or their talking points or whatever. But you already made a digital footprint that will last forever. So a new audience, you're still remembered for saying the things that you used to say about Black women. You're just now trying to pander to us. You're just now trying to save whatever or salvage whatever reputation, little reputation that you have, that you want us to support you with. So this is how they treat Black women. It's like when they are in the slumps, when they are going down, and that's when they want our support. That's when they want to pander to us. And if we don't respond by pandering to us, that's when they want to cuss at us. And that's when they, try to have all this rage and stuff. So that's when they're not genuine about it, especially right now with the investigation going on. Expect a lot of people, well, I mean, if not a lot, then expect some people try to deny that they were ever attached to this, or they don't know this, or they're going to act brand new. So that's what I wanted to say.
Girl, you are so right. And they already are trying to sanitize Kevin. And, I hate to be the B word, but I'm not. Stop, please. I'm not going to just sit by silently while that happens. Okay. And one thing that really surprises me is that these guys don't realize that they've been seen for a long time. Okay. So changing your talking points now, or disassociating yourself, or erasing your vids, like gotta be quicker than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody is dumb enough to, you know, not have gathered all their information before they let on that something was going on anyway. So that's just a feeble attempt, because everybody, that digital footprint, like you said, is there, is prominent, and it keeps getting reiterated in the space time and time again. So the growth is not happening on the level where the guys who were so egregious 2 or 3 years ago, or even 4 or 5 years ago, can pretend as if that isn't who they were today, because they aren't smart enough to not be regurgitating the same talking points today as they were 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, my thing is this. If he was bold enough to talk that mess in life, then I should be bold enough to talk about him in death. This is how he lived. This is how he lived. This is who he was. And this is what we're going to talk about. That's what he promoted. And if you think about it too, the other correlation was he really blew up over the panorama, right? We was all at home. Cause I didn't know who this Joker was. And then when I started watching his videos, listening to his rhetoric, seeing what was going on out in the real streets that correlated with the YouTube streets, I was like, these men are insane, and I don't want to have anything to do with them because I like having peace. I like having some place to live. I like having my things. I don't want somebody trying to drill me, my children. It's just, it's unnecessary. And I used to have some male friends, and I would talk to them, and they were saying the exact same manosphere, Kevin Samuel stuff. And that's when I really pulled back from black men. I was like, these men are sick. There is no black community. Just talking to a friend of mine, and he was dating, and I was trying to give him some dating advice. And I was saying, well, if you're going to date a single mother, then really be careful about that, because it's not just about you or her. Children become attached, so take your time. If you're not really interested in her, maybe go date somebody else. And I don't know, we kind of said something else in the middle, and he was like, I don't care anything about her child. That's not my child. You mean I got to buy her child something too? And then I got another homeboy, and he lived way in the other half of the country in the South, and he was saying the same crazy stuff. But mind you, they both had children, right? Children that don't live with them. And I was like, but you have children, but you don't want somebody to have children, and you don't care if she has children because you don't care if the children get attached to you. And I mean, what is all this pro blackness? But every time they get aired out by some police officer or something. Oh, they want me to get tear gas. They want me to hold up signs. They want me to protest. They want me to hit the street. No, no. I will no longer care about people who don't care about me. I don't care what they look like.
Yeah, girl, you are so right. I will even recall them saying not too long ago, nobody told y'all to protest for us. Do y'all remember all that shit they was talking a couple months ago?
Yes.
Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't know. Nobody told y'all to go out and protest for us. Nobody told y'all to do X, Y, and Z. Like they are number one, so short sighted. They are the only group of men that are publicly um um everyone knows that they are distant from their group of women. They are the only group of men. And they'll make excuses and say, well, it's because she's too fat, or she's not pretty enough, or she's not young enough, or all of those things that the guys have been saying. But they fail to realize that no other group of men use those same, thank you, baby. No other group of guys use those same excuses. And it just makes them look crazy. But they think that they're justified in being publicly separated from their own group of women, but the world sees them as some idiots, and they don't even really get it. Like, it's not clicking for them.
Right, because they can't reproduce themselves without us.
Hmm.
So if you don't have black women, you can't make black children. And all that getting with non-black women, those children are not black. Those are biracial children. So that's crazy, and a misnomer in itself. But let's get into, the godfather, the grandfather, right? So what's this thing about his age? And he was through the wall. Didn't he coin that phrase? through the
Yeah,
wall, past the wall.
yeah, look, this is what I was cracking up about earlier when I heard it, okay? They talking about he was found in a hotel with a 32-year-old or something like that. And there were also reports that he um fell on top of her or something like that. And y'all remember, like, I think it was in the summertime, he was saying that older men like 50 needed to get with 20-year-olds. Um
Yes.
so that they could, those were the women that were worth it, and he couldn't even make it. He done fell out on top of this girl.
Girl,
Okay,
he died. He
he
died
done
gold.
fell on top of this
He,
girl.
he on top of me. Color purple.
Okay, talk about some. Get you a young girl and do what with her? It's just embarrassing. Everything is embarrassing, and the thing is they don't even have enough common sense to be embarrassed. But everything that has been happening over the past couple months to a few years has been just a huge embarrassment for them, their masculinity and manhood, and they seem to not even notice.
Right. So to your point, they think the world don't see the state of our communities. The Italian communities don't look like this. The Jewish communities don't look like this. They don't have 80 people shot in a weekend in their communities, right? And they're not perfect. Nobody is perfect on this planet. However, they do not have the level of crime and dysfunction all out on display that we do. And that comes from our men. And then they talking about we should be held accountable. We don't like accountability. I haven't seen anybody in the manosphere starting with the son of perdition, the dark knight, KS himself take accountability. When did he take accountability? This man told men to support uh, same gender loving men, which that's a whole nother thing. And if that's your orientation, that's your orientation. But never admitted that he may have that orientation. Then, secondly, told men to go out and get a lady of the evening, I should say, right? Why would you do that? And then look at how he passed away. He was living that thing, right? Met this woman in a club. He don't know what that woman had. Condoms don't take away everything. Condoms fail.
How do you fall on top of somebody? I'm sorry. Like how do you do that? I'm sorry. I just need clarification on that. If someone can answer that, falling on top of someone.
Okay,
Girl,
wait a minute. Hold on, Gold. One sec. He fell on that Viagra made him fall on top of her. Okay, that little blue pill. Go ahead, y'all.
Oh, I see. Now, yeah, so back to what I was mentioning about how he would just downplay black women for everything, but yet he meets someone over 32, right? So apparently 32 is supposed to be like hitting the wall because it's not what 23, 24, whatever. So he was moved, so then he kept changing the goalposts, but that's neither here nor there. Now he hooks up with this woman, and yet every any profession that we do, whether if it's nursing, education, or whatever, he claims that our education don't matter. Yet he hooks up with the nurse. That that's what I'm so that's what really confuses me. The fact that he kept changing the goalposts and he's not consistent with his message. If his message, whatever message that is to hold us accountable. It's just the inconsistencies.
So it make you ask yourself, why was black women constantly listening to him? Now you said, and Mela said, that some of these women were paid. And they probably were. They did their fresh and fit thing because we found out with the whole Tommy Sotomayor situation that they was paying those girls to come on their show. But a lot of those women were not paid. So you have to ask yourself, What is wrong with black women and our self-esteem that we need validation so bad that we would keep going on a show where we know we were going to be berated and degraded by somebody. Kevin Samuels was a one at best. He was not a nice looking man, and 99% of the dudes that's talking crazy on YouTube are dudes that you would throw back. Fresh and Fit look like Gruel from Despicable Me and Alf. Looking like a whole wrinkle dog, sitting up here talking crazy about how they don't mess with night riders. Who only somebody would have sex with them in the night in the pitch black, so you couldn't have to see that ugly face.
Just the audacity of the stuff that they said out loud. And it's so shocking that they didn't see nothing wrong with it. I'm still in a state of disbelief. It's fine. I'm still in a state of disbelief. And the fact um that they are going to continue on in the charade because they just beginning, okay? Because we not being insensitive, okay? We not happy that he died, okay? We not laughing at him. We having an honest conversation. And the fact that he just passed away yesterday and everybody want to pretend like, you know, he wasn't cutting up the day before is just shocking and so
Cutting
disingenuous.
up the day before Gold, he was cutting up that night. He had a whole HOW hockey stick up in the crib. The
Yeah,
chick he just picked up at the club,
at
she
the
could have,
bar.
right. She could have had a hot case of the hot cases.
Okay. Girl, what happened to spending a couple hundred on a ESCORT? Okay, what happened to that?
Right. Because he was so high value.
Right. And see, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about us as women examining the character, that's a major giveaway right there. That 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 he advocated for something like that, okay? And that he didn't have any strong relationships that he could call out or speak to. He didn't have not one woman stand up for him, one woman that knew him from his personal life, even his mama, who pause. His mama had to be the one to confirm the reports of his death, not his daughter and not his wife or ex-wife, his mama. Okay? This is how weak the high value king has presented himself in this situation. His mother had to be the one to be the spokesperson for him. But
Now,
no, let me finish this little piece. No woman from his personal life have been able to stand up and vouch for him as being a good, high quality, high value man. And women
right.
followed him, allowed him to critique us, allowed him to determine our worth and our value and send out messaging about us, but nobody had confirmed or validated him. No woman had confirmed or validated him for us.
Absolutely. I wasn't trying to cut you off, but you was just making so many good points. His daughter probably feels like Tupac when he said, "My daddy died, and I couldn't cry for a stranger." She don't know that man, Goldie, and they're trying to say that we're acting up because some black women have celebrated his death, and I don't care how black women take it or what they do about his death. But you would be surprised if his daughter got on here and said she didn't care. She might not care. You don't know how she feels. She don't know that man.
Do you recall how many times he actually mentioned her? Because now I'm hearing that they have somebody, they got to get somebody to like take over the throne or whatever. And I'm hearing that it's this guy named Dennis Sperling. And I'll reserve my comments, okay? But anyway, um,
Wow, I don't like it when you reserve comments. Let comments fly. Dennis Sperling looked like he, one hamburger away from that great day. He better watch out. Everybody that step in those shoes, they get up out of here.
Girl, so they gonna have somebody take over, and I think it's gonna be him, another man with failed relationships and children that didn't live with him from birth to today. Okay, and the thing is that Kevin made plenty statements. Well, he never brought up his daughter. Maybe once or twice he may have mentioned his daughter, and that right there tell you. Dennis made some post talking about he only has one daughter that he loves so much, but yet he never said nothing about her. And out of all of those pictures and videos and yada yada yada, he never showcased her or hinted at anything, any development in her life out of all of the time that we've been knowing him. But now all of a sudden, Dennis can mention his daughter when Kevin didn't even mention his daughter when he was living. And that's what I really feel bad about. Guys want to make it seem like we taking an opportunity or taking liberty to drag Kevin, but this is a lesson for all Black American men. Like, listen, your legacy is what precedes you. That's what matters. Okay. When you are laying out here and can't do nothing for yourself, what people say about you, those who were closest to you, is what matter. What relationships you formed and who you poured into and what you committed to and sacrificed for, that's what mattered. Now, him making these videos and telling y'all to wear suits and to get your hair cut and how to wash your bunghole. Okay, those videos may have been impacting and they may have helped you because I guess nobody else want to tell you simple basic tenets of life. But when we talk about children, when we talk about spouses, when we talk about things that really matter in life, that's what you're graded on. Okay. And no amount of praise from a man in these spaces or even a woman in these spaces can equal to just one positive statement from his daughter. Okay, one positive public statement. I'm talking about a picture from a picture within 2022, okay, of them enjoying themselves and him pouring into her. I'm talking about pictures from when she turned 16, her sweet 16, or when she went to prom, or when she got her first job, or anything. When she stopped wearing barrettes and ponytail holders and started pressing her hair out, okay? The first time she got her nails done. Where is that information? Okay, and we let him slide through as some type of consultant or advisor when he had this type of mess going on in his own life. And the audacity of these men to try to pretend like it wasn't what it is or what it wasn't what it was today is just sickening to me. It's sickening. And I, for one, believe that any man that doesn't take care of his children deserves to be aired out. Your children deserve to air you out at some point in time. That's just how I feel about it.
No, I'm totally with you. That's exactly right. That should be part of the vetting process, part of the litmus test that you're always talking about. So what got me was Kevin needed YouTube. He needed that 1.4 million followers because when he got off YouTube, he was at home alone. We see what happened. Had little Missy that he picked up at the club not been there, he would have passed totally alone. That was just a random act that she was there. And he didn't know, real lady, and he didn't know she was a nurse. All he knew was that she was a thickums that he picked up at the bar that night, that he was taking home to do something weird with. So, I mean,
Girl,
it's just karma. Go ahead, go.
just imagine the fact that the woman that he was with, and girl, she talk about stout junk, okay? I mean, that girl is thick as what? Peanut butter? I mean, what they be okay, she a little kitty to me too, okay? But anyway, imagine laying up there in your last moments with somebody that is essentially a complete stranger to you. Imagine if Kevin would have been married and had a wife who had been paying attention to her husband and knew that he didn't eat all his green vegetables 2 days ago and that was abnormal for him, or knew that she noticed that he was out of breath when he was coming up the stairs from getting something out the basement a couple days ago, or noticed that he snored more than he usually snored last night, and thought maybe I should take my baby to emergency room to get him checked out, and then they find out there's something going wrong with his heart just in the nick of time for him to take care of it before he expired. Just imagine if he had a woman by him that was able to do that versus some woman he had met up in the bar less than 24 hours before that. Just imagine. And these men try to make it seem like that those quality of relationships don't matter, but they very do. They could very well be the determination between you living or dying, as we have seen. Okay.
Absolutely. But
Now,
if
mhm.
you if you look at the space, uh, there not I don't see any of them that have any functioning, happy, whole marriages. Can you name any, Goldie? Because you know the manosphere space better than I do. But also, we'll make this last point before you respond. 2021. I mean, it's shocking the way Kevin passed, but then it's not. Like black men have been leaving in their 50s. Like if you look at Biz Marquis, if you look at Humpty Hum, if you look at DMX, if you look at what's the guy from The Wire? His name was Michael, passed away. And in most of those cases, it was drug addiction.
And you know, 50 now, Kevin didn't lie about his age. Now, I don't know why he only wanted to lie 3 years or 4 years or whatever, but he was telling us that he was 52, remember? And I guess with his birthday, he would just be turning 53, but the news reporting that he 56 or 57. But so I don't know why he was lying about that, but 57 even is still very young. Now he sat up here and built a whole platform making everybody feel that 25 was hitting the wall, 30 was old. Okay. But 56 and 57 is still relatively young when we are talking about real life. I'm not talking about this little game that we play on YouTube or this game that we play on social media, but in real life, a 55-year-old woman or man still got a little time left for memories and yada yada yada. It's just all about if you used your time wisely when you were younger. Now, Kevin was a 55, 56, 57-year-old man who was still hustling, trying to find a way to survive. And he had found it in the past couple of years, but it was at the expense of everybody around him. And he didn't take nobody with him either. You know? But you know,
Right.
let me go
Hmm.
to this comment. He said that there's more than 1,000 Kevin Samuels, and y'all should be ashamed of that, but y'all not. It's more than 1,000 men out here, black men out here, that have been married less than 5 years. It's more than 1,000 Kevin Samuels out here that have been divorced twice, that have children that they haven't seen and don't have a relationship with, who will stay and do anything to get a little bit of money instead of standing on his own and making a way for himself, who will make excuses for his lack of desire to provide, okay? Who will incite violence and hatred and denigration against the women that look just like his sister and mother and auntie and little favorite cousin. And you got the nerve to be proud of the fact that there's 1,000 Kevin Samuels out here who will take over, and then Fresh and Fit are some weirdos, and you talking about this is just the beginning. Y'all should be embarrassed, but you're not. And I'm shocked. How can you not be embarrassed? There's more than 1,000 who will take over, and this is just the beginning. How low are y'all willing to go? It's not the black woman that keeps you from having respect on the world stage. It's yourself. It's you. We have
Preach.
Kevin Samuels that is 57 or 56, whatever they saying. This is a 56-year-old man that should be somebody's grandfather that was just uncovered in an apartment that wasn't in his name with a woman that he met the night before who was 20 years younger than him. And what other race of men is doing that? Please tell me. What other race of men have you heard that did some trifling ish like that last week or last month or last year? Y'all don't mind looking like damn fools. And I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Hey, Alexander. Hey, Karma Justice. Hey, y'all.
Golda, you preaching tonight, girl. You preaching and you teaching. What you tell them, what you get them straight. And it's 1,000 more pedos. And it's going to be 1,000 more, unfortunately, black women that leave this world due to femicide. It's going to be 1,000 more children that lose their life, like that young lady in Texas, at the hands of her mother's black male boyfriend. So deal with those things. I don't care if it's another 1,000 Kevin Samuels that come into existence. What we have to do is, as black women, get our marching orders right, get ourselves right, and move forward and continue to leave you in the dust. You already read at a third or fourth grade level, you already do math at a third or fourth grade level, and while we're the most educated demographic in the United States, and that's just only going to increase. So if you want to continue to be left in the dust, then that's on you.
Girl, and out of all of these conversations, I never heard them provide a solution as to how to address the literacy level for Black boys in America. I have only heard them talk about the. Sorry for my baby. I have only heard them talk about the. I'm sorry. I have only heard them talk about the failings of the mother, but never address anything that they can do. And this is such an expansive community with guys that have accomplished some, have attained some education, just like with Dennis Sperling, but none of these guys have thoughts. I'm finna drop a heavy load right here, and my baby making that, he making too much noise. But none of them thought to create a 501c3 and syndicate that 501c3 in every major city in every state across America and focus on reading and literacy for boys aged 9 to 16 and have charted their success rates and get them into technical schools or lower level liberal arts schools that will admit them and then have them progress on to graduate and maybe even terminal degrees. They have not even ever thought to do that.
And the reason being is simply because if these, let's say, if they were to, if one of these men in the manosphere, you're talking about the misogynistic ones, um, and let's say that they, let's just say hypothetically speaking, they implemented at least one of the strategies that you mentioned, they won't get any reoccurring super chats because to them it's like it's more money, um what talking about the same problem, whether if it's bashing black women or whatever else that they repeatedly choose to make content on. So it's more profit off of the problem and the drama and the outrage than to provide real solutions. And even if they were to subscribe to like a Patreon or whatever, you're not gonna, well, I mean, this is my opinion, even if they were subscribed to their Patreon to see if they were some type of solution, you're not going to get the full deal because they want to be the one that is on top of everything. They want to be able to benefit and profit off of the trauma and using and continually making this narrative of attacking black women or whatever else. So it's a huge benefit for them to not spread that type of knowledge to the community because they want to be the only one to capitalize off of that. And it's really dangerous, but that's just how their thinking is, and it's going to continue to destroy us. And these women that, female young girls and women that subscribe to KS, they need to start, like you said, examining the character and not have to beat yourself up and think that you are the problem or something is wrong with you and all that. He is just that. He is just one person. Expand your options by looking into the various groups of people, and maybe from then and there you may see the character that you've always deserve, instead of just relying on a specific group of people that tell things that you believe, which is not always factual. So they have a narrative, they have a talking point that is very destructive. And now it's time for us to break away from that. It's time for us to unlearn a lot of these ideals that we held on to because we are so loyal, whether if it's race loyal or whatever else. So I think we need to try to reframe that mindset in order for us to progress. And I feel like if we are going to, if we want those changes, the changes that you mentioned in terms of building and wealth, we're going to have to do an independent research from that because I, and this is just my opinion, I don't think that someone in, whether they're manospheric or not, is going to have that type of support if it's not drama related. So that's just my opinion.
What we have to realize is that this is about women's oppression, and particularly for us, because we're black women oppression. They just want to oppress us. It's nothing that we can do to make them as a collective happy. I don't care how you work out. I don't care how you eat, how you try to stay fit. I don't care if you're the most submissive, you never cuss, you never raise your voice. Most of them are just not going to be happy with you because I think what we don't want to see, unfortunately, he is the most emasculated man on the planet, and he emasculates himself. We know we're not doing anything to him. He knows what the problem is, but he deflects. The issue is he won't go toe to toe with who he feels knows or maybe or feels who is actually oppressing him. And that person doesn't look anything like us. He's is pale and it's a male. So what you have to do is let him go handle his dysfunction, his pathologies, and stay away from him. And that's not saying that I'm not going to say all black men, but we know that the number is so high until it's almost all. We're not wrong in saying the collective or the majority, but that's his issue. He refuses to go look that blue eyes square in the face and go toe to toe. And number one, if you want to go toe to toe with the pale pookie, what you need to do is have a family. Community starts with family, and each family and another family and another family, until it becomes a collective of families that are functioning, and your school systems is good and your neighborhoods is clean, and you have businesses in your neighborhoods that are owned by you. Because I don't see in any other community black people in Little Korea, black people in Chinatown, black people in Little Italy. I don't see black people there. Those communities would not have that. They would not allow that. But black men have allowed every other nation to be in our neighborhoods. And we tolerate that. He tolerates this. And then he wants us to come home and submit and say, yes, okay, I like whatever you like. I want to eat whatever you eat. And I remember hearing Kevin Samuel say, I'm just gonna come home and tell my woman we having sushi tonight. Sushi. That's it. Be quiet. Don't say anything. Okay. No, you go toe to toe with that pale pookie and you see what you get. Cause we're looking at manhood right now. Vladimir Putin said something. Ukraine did something different. He unleashed the beast. Whether we agree with his actions or disagree, that is manhood, and our men are not displaying that.
Girl, you are so right. And see, the thing is that um they don't want it. They just don't want it. But listen, when we have the conversation regarding divestment and stuff, um, passe noir, I can never say that word. Noir. Joe said um that there's no profit, no money in fixing any of this. And you know, we just know what it is. But the reality is that if we want to um, exist, we got to figure it out. And to me, now I think that women should go wherever they are treated the best, like, you know, like go where you're loved and appreciated. However, this idea that that's only found outside of the community is dangerous and destructive for us. Now, don't get me wrong. Hold on, baby. Don't get me wrong. I am not telling women or advocating for women to go and struggle love. But the narrative that that's all the Black community offers is false. And we really need to start speaking out against that. And I know that we were talking a little bit about Kevin, and for the past couple years, he's been promoting, you know, this struggle, you know, dynamic of male female black male black female relationships and stuff. But the reality is that when I look outside, like in my real world, there are functioning relationships. Now, are they perfect? No relationship is. But I have friends that are having families. I have single women over 30, over 35 that are getting married to good men, that are having children that they wanted. You know, we really need to change the narrative that we can only get that type of happiness outside the community. Guys that know what that's about and have been committed to that and sacrificed for that need to start speaking up about that. And that's just the reality. There's no way that we can continue to run to other communities to seek sanctuary. They look at us like we are crazy. Mommy, can I have this? Okay, leave it over there. They
No,
look
I
like
totally
we are
agree with you.
crazy having to go to their community for something as simple as a husband or something as simple as a wife. We look like the charity cases of the human race, you know, trying to make it seem like everybody is better than a black woman or a black man. You, like we talked about, have to examine the character, the content, the makeup of these people. You have to examine what it is that you want out of your own life and be honest about where you are and if you are ready to be responsible for it. And it goes beyond your height, weight, and dress size. You understand? And a lot of guys say, well, women only about money, but we can't lie and pretend that money isn't important. You know, guys, we can't keep allowing y'all to use that as an excuse for not having it. It's time to get it now. There's no more excuses. There's no more deflection. There's you. He says that there'll be 1,000 more Kevin Samuels, but a lot of us are much smarter, and we're not gonna fall for the okie doke or some homeboy with a suit on coming to tell us that the black man is downtrodden and that's all he'll ever be. And we should just accept him at his 40 or 50K and live happily ever after. So y'all can think that this cycle will replay itself again, but black women not going for that. The sad part about it is that, in my opinion, I say it's sad because I love family and I love children. Y'all hear my babies right here. The sad part about it is that a lot of black women who want to be mothers and a lot of black women who want to be wives won't get that opportunity because our men won't afford it to them. And these men aren't affording it to any other woman either. So they really need to be honest about where they are and make some intentional decisions about improving their positioning.
No, you're right about they're not being honest. They're being totally disingenuous about where they really are in life. And nobody can change that for them but them. They want us to come in, swoop in like their mama and raise them. Look, no, your mama should have raised you, and whatever your mama didn't do, then you were able to get out in the world and learn how things are supposed to go the right way and not a dysfunctional way. And so, to your point, that's on them. We're not here to pick up all of their pieces, you know? But the main thing that I never hear in all of these conversations is the basis should be love. Love, mutual respect, commonalities that you have with the person, friendship. You start off as friends and you build from there. No, it's just rush, rush, rush. What you have, what I can get from you, what you can get from me. All that stuff is a turnoff. And then furthermore, like you said, we're talking about KS, but all of these conversations have been in this Black YouTube space. So it's all relevant. The divestment issue. So, my point, Goldie, is the numbers are just not there. Black men have killed themselves off right here in my city of Chicago. There was a whole neighborhood that was roped off one day. I was driving past. You couldn't get through the whole neighborhood. Had to be, I would say, probably 15 to 30-year-old black men and boys airing themselves out, airing each other out. No black girls was there, no black women was there. We didn't have anything to do with that. We didn't have a GUNN in our hands, right? So how can we be the cause of that? You did that. You do that. You decided to sell drugs. You could have gone to community college, to your point. Where are the black men at to say, I'm going to stop this? The good black men, right? That they say is so prevalent out here. Where are they at to say, I'm going to go get these young guys off this corner? I'm gonna go talk to them. No, when the older guys, the OGs go talk to them, they show them how to sell drugs. They show them how to put that God you now in their hands. They show them these things. They tell them, oh, you not having sex. Oh, she not giving it up. Oh, you need to dump her. Oh, you only got one woman. You faithful to her. Oh man, no, that's simp stuff. You gotta have 5, 6 chicks. Go get you some non-black ones too. Mix it up. This, and this. And so this is what they teach them. And then they want us to praise them, act like it's not happening. But again, to my point, it's 2 million more of us. And if the majority of those women, that 2 million, are heterosexual women, who are they going to be with? If each and every one of our men was saying, Goldie, and up to your standards, your hypergamous standards, we still have, because of drugs, because of gangs, because of incarceration, death, we still have 2 million more women. They have no choice but to date out if they ever want to be married. And that guy, what's his name? The one that wrote the book, the black man who's married to this white woman.
I
He's talking about that 2 million. Go ahead.
no, go ahead because you had borged out a bit.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you
That
know
two,
that book, man. Are you talking about them? Is Marriage for White People book?
right? Yeah, right. That 2 million has no choice. That 2 million has no choice but to date out. They don't have a mate. Just like if you look at the numbers in China or India, it's more men than women. They don't have a choice but to date out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that um that black women shouldn't be apprehensive to date out. You know, like really explore your options and may the best man win. Okay. I just know, like you said, the not all, I find it very hard to be a part of the all black men space because I I can see through the BS a lot. Okay. Like when I talk about the grandfather, I saw through his stuff like real easy. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be considering him a high value or a quality man. But I know what a high quality, high value black man looks like. And I see him around. And I know that they date black women too. And I know that they would be interested in getting married and stuff like that too. And I know that some of them do. You know, you have to be where they are. You know what I'm saying? But I think definitely if you're interested in a marriage and children, the average Black American man is not going to give you that. You know, that average everyday guy that you see walking down the street follows the Black male culture and probably won't be offering marriage or, you know, family building, legacy building anytime soon. So I agree that women should expand their options and should date out and stuff. I just think that the good Black men, like you said, since they always hollering about is some good ones out here. And you know, I see a few of them myself, but the good ones that these ones online be hollering about, they need to start promoting that conversation as well. Because as of right now, you know, I think that our next stream, if you want to talk about the grandfather again, should be about if he is a Pookie or a Ray Ray, okay? Because what we're seeing is that a lot of these examples are turning real Pookie-ish, okay? And the grandfather is looking a little like a Pookie to me, okay? We need to be having those good Black men who understand family and legacy. They need to stand up here and start promoting it more. And they, you know, really need to make that a thing. I just get so, I don't know what's the word, disheartened when I feel that we feel that the only way we can have happiness or a quality life is if we are with a white person. And we always say white. We don't ever say other races and ethnicities, but you know, I feel like there is happiness to be found within us too. And we need to talk about that. We need to promote that. We need to not be afraid to say that we want that, you know, that whole thing. But yeah, I mean, if you trying to have you some babies and you trying to get married, you know, have you a multicultural roster, okay, so that you can, you know, choose the best from that. Because we know that typically, you know, young child wearing age Black men are not marrying, and that's something that really needs to be addressed. Hey, Chaos, can you hear me, girl? I don't know. I made a little some more things that I want to talk about, but I've really been enjoying this conversation. I'm happy that we are able to be honest about the reality that we find ourselves in. One thing, when the dust settles a little bit, I would love to see men having real, open, honest, vulnerable conversations about where they are, because a lot of the issues in our community, um, you know, is their responsibility to fix. And you know, if they don't choose to fix it, it won't be done. And whatever happens as a result of that is so unfortunate for such an amazing race or community of people as we are. It wasn't until the last decade or two, in my opinion, that we became so critical of each other and so mean to each other and so destructive to our race in general. Like when I came up, we used to love being Black. We loved being Black. Okay, we loved, and I'm not even talking about Black. I'm talking about we loved having our brown skin, and we loved having our thick hair and our natural, you know, juicy bodies and stuff like that. We loved that. But over the past couple decades, we began to emulate more and more and more other races, as if who we are naturally, who we just are, just without even trying, isn't good enough. And it is, and it's amazing. And we need to stop letting people talk us up out of it. But another thing I want to talk about is a lot of people said when Kevin was on his rise that the only way you can get through to Black women or Black people in general, hold on, my baby crawling all over the that the only way you can get black through to Black women or black um men is if you are harsh with them, if you tell it like it is, if you shoot straight, if you cuss them out. And you see, us accepting that definition for ourselves is what allowed Kevin to be able to get on this internet. And then a whole bunch of copycats, like the thousands of people that the guy mentioned in the Fresh and Fits. Can you take him? Can y'all hold on for 1 second, please?
Yeah, no problem.
Sure.
Um, like the thousands of people that's waiting to take his place, um, how how they sit there and do the same thing, degrade women, talk bad about black women, um, and that whole thing. Instead of, I got distracted. Instead of, instead of being able to have, you know, um, positive and fruitful and productive conversations. Black women don't need to be called fat broads and bitches and hoes. They don't need to be cussed out. We don't need to be told to shut up. We don't need to be told we ugly or we fat or we too old or we too nappy headed or our nose is too wide in order to understand somebody's point, in order to hear what it is that they have to say. And we really need to address the fact that um, we feel as if we need to be disrespected in order to learn lessons or in order to hear somebody's concern. We don't have to be disrespected. And the more we accept that verbal disrespect as a means of, of tough love, then the more we fail to acknowledge that we live in a culture of abuse and trauma, and we have accepted it and normalized it, and are making the world think that the only way you can talk to a black person is if you plan on abusing them or disrespecting them. If we had never allowed that to persist with Kevin, all of this average at best and calling black women broads and hoes and cussing us out and all of this type of stuff wouldn't even have a place. It wouldn't have a home if we wouldn't have accepted that we got to be disrespected, yelled at, talked down to, cussed out, hit on, slapped on, punched on, kicked on in order to be spoken to. So that's something that I would like for us to talk about in another conversation. Hey, FYF. Yeah, it's been a long time. Hey, Bossy. Bossy, I'm so sorry. Girl, forgive me, okay? Because I haven't been here in a long time, but I'm on the way back. Okay, I'm coming back, and I saw you and the beautiful Faith Factor had tagged me in some videos about Kevin, and I don't know why he had to go and die on us because I wanted to make my comments while he could hear them. Okay, while he could read my comments and hear my videos. I wanted him to make them then, but I am gonna address those comments about not believing your children and all of that type of stuff. These are crazy notions and crazy ideas that we have accepted and allowed to persist. And I'm shocked. Okay. So I'm sorry, Bossy. I know that was about three weeks ago. But yeah, I'm still gonna address that. Okay. Um now, I'm going down my list. Did anybody want to say something? Bossy, let me drop the link for you just in case you want to come up. Just in case, girl. Anybody want to come up, you're welcome to come up. Um, but the other thing that I have written is for black women not to be shamed. We talked about this a little earlier. Not to be shamed about not mourning the Godfather and the grandfather, I'm sorry, not mourning the grandfather. I'm not finna allow these men to gaslight or shame us into not holding him accountable. He didn't call every one of us some fat, nappy-headed bees, okay? And I'm gonna hold him accountable for that, okay? Somebody said that we might get his followers to set up a statue or something, and I will have engraved in the cement around it that this man is not to be respected. I will never let he or anybody else, I don't care how many times they die, live down the fact that he done sat there and trashed black women to the ends of the earth. And I'm not finna give you the peace and death and thinking that we're not finna speak on that, or we're gonna speak on it, okay? I might not drag you, little kitty, but we gonna speak on it for sure, okay? Um, Yes, Raina, thank you for responding to him. Because you know what? They use so many excuses. Now it's mental health. Um, they use so many excuses. It's the man won't give them a job, even though they can make a job themselves. It's the woman who don't want to listen, even though they don't have a plan and he ain't talking about shit. Okay, it's so many excuses as to why they can't. It's time for y'all to start talking about why y'all can. And listen, I'm not asking them or imploring them to talk about why they can so that we can date them. Okay, we don't have to date them. Okay, because they the most desirable. So they don't even need us to date them. I'm just saying black men in the current condition that they are in are dangerous. They are a danger to us and to everybody. Okay, not just black women, but to everybody. So ignoring it is not going to work. They got to step their game up. And the good ones got to talk about it and force that to happen. And the smart ones got to create those 501c3 so that they can get the government to pay for it or whatever it is they need to do. But ignoring it is not going to work and it's not going to happen. Okay? um Ignoring it just allow them to come up with more excuses and reasons why and deflections and all of that type of stuff. Hell no. There's no reason why you shouldn't have a job. There's no reason why you shouldn't have a car if you're 30 years old. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to sustain yourself, take care of yourself. Like, there's no reason why you should be 40 or 50 years old making 40K and you talking about you want a submissive woman. Like, we got to start calling them out. And the men who out there working 60 to 80 hours a week and doing it up for their family got to shut them excuses down. How dare you let a man who can't get up off the couch tell you, shame you about having a family when you working 60 and 80 hours to provide? It's time for y'all to start speaking up, or else I'ma think it ain't none of y'all out there. Like, only the people that I see be high value and the rest of y'all on the internet be some bums. If the good guys don't start speaking up, okay, my mind might be playing tricks on me if y'all don't start saying something.
Well, back to your point about the divestment thing and only looking out and looking at white men only. You're right, it should be keep your options open to any man that treats you well and go where you're celebrated. But Goldie, this the thing we talked about, the illiteracy rates among black men, right? The
Mhm.
higher up you go, like, go to college, go to any university. If you go to community college, it's not that many black men there. If you
Yeah.
go to the university, it's not that many black men there. And the higher up you go, once you get a bachelor's
I'm
degree,
sorry,
not
Rainy.
that many. Huh?
Please. Mhm.
Once you go to law school, it's not that many black men there. Once you go to medical school, it's not black men there. So you date the people who are around you who show that they had the same goals. So black men need to try to become competitive, especially if they want a good black woman. But what's a good black woman? I'm confused now because it sounds like to me a good black woman is like a slave, because they're talking about they don't want a woman who's educated. They don't want a woman who makes 80 to 100 some thousand a year. They want somebody between the age of 18 and 24. Well, most of the time you don't have that at that time in your life. So money money gives you power. They don't want black women to have any type of power. That is slavery. They don't want to equal. And so that goes to show their mindset that they cannot handle a real woman. They want a little girl, somebody that they can manipulate and take advantage of.
I agree with that. And thank y'all so much for joining the panel. Welcome, and please um, share your thoughts whenever you are ready to just jump on in there. Um,
Greetings, Goldie, and everybody on the panel and the
Hey,
chat room.
hey,
This is
y'all.
Yo, what up, y'all?
this is Raining Woman. Um, I want to piggyback. Who was just speaking?
Hey, how you doing? That's me, Cheri Dani.
Okay, I want to piggyback off your last comment about they want to date. That's why they want to date younger women. One of the reasons why they want to date younger women, so that they can be easier to manipulate, groom rather. And to piggyback on that, I want to say this. This is why we have to be extremely careful with our children. This is why we have to be even more mindful and protective of them in our guiding them and our teaching them and who we bring around them. Because there are a lot of men that want our children. And they don't just want our daughters, they also want our sons. I also wanted to address the comment by this James person about Black men suffering in mental health silently. I'm addressing you in that comment because I am not going to allow you to take away from the millions of Black men who, in spite of whatever was going on in their lives, who, in spite of situations and circumstances in them growing up and things happening to them, in spite of all of that, in spite of racism, in spite of glass ceilings, have thrived, have been productive, have prospered, and have been shining examples throughout generations, no matter what. Not making excuses. See, that is an excuse. Again, mental health assistance has always been available. Black men who want to blame their mental health and anything else, it's because you don't want to take control and authority and power taking care of yourself. And you want to have a pity party. And I'm sorry, you don't get to play victim in this world and be respected as being a part at the same time. And then you want to use it as an excuse to verbally abuse Black women or blame Black women. I'm sorry, we're not going to be your scapegoat. Sorry, not sorry. You were put on this earth to be a man. If you have a problem with that and things that's happened, take it to the Creator. Take it to God if you know Him. And if you don't, then get to know Him so that you can get out of this victim mentality where you have to come online and find a father figure in your late 30s and 40s and 50s. Are you kidding me? But you want someone to submit to you? A woman cannot submit to you in any capacity when you are submitted to other men's nut sacks. I'm gonna drop the mic on that. I'm gone.
Thank you so much, Rainy. Okay. I mean, it's really time. Hold on. It's really time for them to cut out with the excuses. The thing that's my baby crying, he's sleepy now. Hold on.
Okay. I'll go ahead. Like, I really don't think, um, I think that they want all of everything that comes with being a man. They just don't want to put the work in. Black men specifically. Um, they want to play victim, like the young lady was saying, but also be seen as leaders. You don't get to be seen as a leader if you're a victim. Um, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with leadership, and the main thing that leadership comes with is placing blame on yourself, putting responsibility on yourself for the well-being and the prosperity of all. Okay, so you don't get to say as the leader, well, they did this first, or point the finger elsewhere. That's the problem with a lot of Black men, is they don't want to accept blame. They don't want to look at themselves. They want to act as if they're just perfect. They've done no wrong and everybody should just submit to them. um Submission is given in exchange for resources, and Black men are some of the stingiest men ever. They want something for nothing, and they're also assuming that just we assume we want to divest to make them upset. No, we're done. The divestment movement is being done because we're just sick of black men. We're not going to put up with scraps anymore. And black women need to open up their options. And black men need to just mind their business about it. Stop trying to scare black women into not divesting. Black women have been getting educated. Black women are beautiful. Black women are opening up businesses. We're taking care of the children that were abandoned. And Kevin Samuel's passing, um, it really shows that there is a reckoning coming for black men. The black queen, the black goddess will be respected, or you will be dealt with on a higher power, by a higher power, because a lot of the things that they're doing is very demonic. It's very evil. It's very low vibrational. And so anyone who seeks to continue to make fun of black women and mock black women, just look at the road that's been paved for you. Look at what's going to happen to you. The FBI is going to be investigating you, and you might mysteriously drop dead from a heart attack. Okay. So all these people that keep coming to my page and everybody else's page trying to continue to fearmonger us and, oh, well, you're still fat and you're still a single mother and nobody's going to want you. Okay, well, see how that worked out with everybody else. See how that worked out with Kevin Samuels and the people that are under investigation. See, what y'all are not realizing is it's time to shut the fuck up and calm the fuck down. And I'm sorry, Goldie. I know you probably don't cuss on your channel. Excuse me. Y'all need to shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all do? Okay. Y'all need to shut up and get to business. Get to work. Y'all are the worker gender. Y'all were born to serve us. So that means you need to get some resources if you want some submission. Don't sit up here. See, what the type of content creator that Kevin Samuels was, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you don't get an education and take care of yourself, you'll be destitute and at the mercy and leverage of a delusional man that has some mental health issues. He's broke. He doesn't want to get any money. But if you get an education or start a business, oh, you're a boss chick and nobody wants that. You're too independent. And so the black woman, we really don't have any way to come correct in this world. It's like these men are wifing us up and, making us wives at 18 or whatever, straight out of high school. Like these men aren't doing anything. They don't seek to be husbands. They want to be baby daddies. And they're using this marriage as leverage, but we know that black men are not trying to get married. So I know FYF loves is probably going to come up here and run his mouth about whatever and try to defend Kevin Samuels and continue to be the same type of men who are now suffering. And so, I just don't understand these guys. It's like y'all really are like toddlers, stubborn toddlers having temper tantrums and trying to, and it's like it's definitely insanity and being an idiot if you continue to see what's going on around you with these men and their rhetoric, what's happening to them, and still continue to double down. It's honestly embarrassing. Yeah, like these men should be embarrassed at this point. So
It's crazy that they can't see that they are like last place. And I'm not even being mean or trying to drag or trying to insult them. The reality is what it is. And like, guys, men, y'all gotta address it, period. There's no getting around it. But now listen, I just gotta mention this, okay? I don't know why I feel I want to create space to have nuance in the conversation. If y'all notice, I haven't been posting or live or whatever because I really was really thinking about my individual message and how I wanted to share that with everybody. Okay. But in my opinion, it's important to have nuance. So I'm not able to do the all black men, all black women. One of the guys in the comments said that Kevin was speaking in general, and speaking about black women in general. But no matter what kind of black woman came before him, like y'all said, it was damned if you do, damned if you do, and he found a problem with her. And just for the record, he accused me of being no better than Kevin Samuels. I am a million times better than Kevin Samuels simply because y'all hear my babies in the background. Okay.
Mhm.
And I don't know if Kevin was close enough for his to be in the background. All right. Y'all
Mhm.
really should begin to watch your mouths and understand what's important in life. And it's not the flex, it's not the suit, it's not the car, it's not your image. It's about what you sacrificing and what you're building in your own personal life. And that's something that it seems like only the Black American man doesn't get. It's like it escapes you.
I
And
agree.
I understand why y'all refuse to be honest with yourselves and make the necessary corrections to what you're doing so that you can come out in a better position.
Can I
But
say
now,
one
I
thing?
don't believe in the all black man thing, okay? Now, well,
Mhm.
see, I was so silent because I really wanted to think about what I was saying, but when in the community a couple of months ago, or maybe a month or two ago, there was this whole thing about um, black boys, you know, like we had a target on the black boys, and y'all know I have two of them. But see, I had saw a title to a video saying that, yes, your black boy ain't shit either, or something like that was the comment. And see, the thing is these black boys over here, you know, they have access to everything they need at this point. And, you know, these ones are 4 and 6 months old. They go to private, well, my 4-year-old goes to private school. My baby is in a nice daycare. You know, I'm spending time with them and teaching them. And for me, you know, in 10 or 15 years from now, the most hurtful thing, my goodness, would be if another black woman couldn't recognize all the work and sacrifice and commitment that I poured into my boys to make them some great black men. You know, I don't want my babies coming with a non-black woman. I mean, it's their choice if that's what they do, but my hope would be for them to also pair up with a young woman who a mother poured into, her black mother poured into her everything she needed to excel, you know, once she had a family of her own. So I'm never I have a huge difficulty talking about the all black, but I mean all black men, but I advocate for black women exploring their options, especially in this time if you are seeking marriage and children. But one thing I want to mention is when we talk about the dating out thing. Like I said, I'm not against it, y'all. Don't, but I just want y'all to hear me out. A couple weeks ago, I wanted to make this video about the Supreme Court lady, Kataji Brown. There
Mhm.
was hoopla in our community about the fact that she was married to a white man. From the way he kissed her on the forehead to the way he lovingly caressed her hand and all of that stuff. And it was great to see. But one thing a lot of us didn't know is that her best friend, who introduced her to the confirmation committee, went to college with her. And she actually met her husband there at Harvard with Katanji when she met her white husband. And her best friend who introduced her had been married to her black husband for 20 something years. This man had graduated from Harvard, held some positions within the school, and he now is the dean of a law school. I can't remember the name, but maybe if I make the video, I'll put it in there. But he's the dean of a law school. She has been nominated for different judgeships a few times in her career. They are really a power couple, and you know it's a black man and a black woman. And the thing is that they met at Harvard, and you know the same time that this lady chose her white man, there was also a black man that was on their same wavelength that was also available for the picking as well. And you know, Cheri might beat me down, okay? But since she ain't getting me yet, I just gotta slide my knot all in there, okay? My goal is for us as black women to really begin to assess these men, whether they're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, Indian, whatever. Assess these men for content and character, and then make your decision there. Because if we just look at the surface of these guys and just say, well, you know, there is a shortage of our own men. So let me just go to the other community and snatch one of them up, and we really don't know what it is, who it is that we are attaching ourselves to. We could essentially waste time over there just like we would have wasted time, on our own side. So for me, it's really important that we think about that. Now let me put my disclaimer. Most of these men not on YouTube, okay? They not,
Right.
yeah, not podcasters, okay? They not a high value image consultant, okay? These are guys that you're gonna find at college and conferences, at conventions, at banking, or you know what? And I also talk about hypergamy a lot, but just going about your own high value woman, high quality woman day. When you are in high quality environments where success is the expectation, where discipline and decorum goes without being said, that's where you rub shoulders with those guys, okay? And the black men or the white men or whatever that are on that wavelength will be there, and that's your pool that you'll be choosing from, okay? So I'm a little long winded, but that's just something that I wanted us to think about.
Okay. FYF wanted to say something.
I actually,
Is he still up here?
I'm
Oh yeah.
still,
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
FYF.
yeah, I'm
I
here.
haven't seen or spoken to you in so long. Y'all, when I met FYF, okay, he was up in here to defend the grandfather, okay. He was telling me off. He was trolling my chat, okay.
Oh, I have experience with him
I
as well.
never, I
Oh my
never, I
goodness, right?
never.
And then he even offered to interview me. And y'all know when the petition first came out, I did not know that people were offering me interviews so that they could bring me to their panel to drag me. I did not know. And
Wow.
FYI was going to try to bring me over there so he could snatch my edges out. Mm-mm.
That's
You're
not
very
true.
feminine.
That's not true.
I ain't going to let it
Hold on, can
happen.
you hear me?
FYF, who
Sure.
are you?
How you
We hear
doing?
you.
No, we don't drag people. We don't cuss people out. We don't block you or kick you off. We don't do that. It was a conversation.
Oh,
That's all it would have been.
you know what,
And
Passe? I know I'm trying to read your comments and you are really writing some good things to me. But the thing is that those black men who want to wash their hands of black women, I encourage you to do it, and I encourage you to do it now. Okay,
Me too.
I encourage you to do it swiftly. Don't waste no time.
Please.
Don't waste no time. Don't be in our spaces. Don't be around us. Don't talk to us. Don't look at us. Don't think about us. Don't nothing.
Right.
Go over there and get you a woman. And there's a woman available to you. There's a woman that will date you over there. Y'all should go ahead and do that. Y'all really should go ahead and do that because see the thing is that while I talk about my perspective on divesting and everything, black women not waiting for y'all. Some black women who not interested in divesting would rather be single for the rest of their lives than to play games with y'all. So,
Mm-hmm.
making a threat type, well, I ain't saying you making a threat, but the whole little thing, like, we just won't deal with you at all. We don't care. And we really would like for the ones who don't want to deal with black women to go. But the thing is that y'all, instead of just going and living a happy life with Becky and them, y'all get a microphone. Y'all probably order it from Amazon. Y'all get a microphone and get y'all a little stream yard, and then y'all get on YouTube and make accounts and videos and all kind of stuff. Okay, bashing black women instead of being over there praising white women. Y'all need some white women, non-black women appreciation videos and streams and activities and meetups and that type of stuff. For real, y'all don't need to keep wasting y'all time worried about us, okay? Because we're not worried about y'all. All right, my baby getting sleepy. Yeah, I got Alexander down. What did they say in the back chat or whatever? I'm about
Mm-hmm.
to up.
Mm.
Okay, about to bless our strength. Okay. Hey,
I was
Hi, it, it's been a long time since I came on here. How you doing, Bossy?
I'm doing good, Alex. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry I
Good.
missed your live. Um,
It's okay. I haven't been live today. I just been in pain. I have a back injury, so
oh, I'm so sorry.
right. It's okay. No, I'm fine.
Man. Um, I uh, I came to say that I agree. I agree that you know if if black men don't get their stuff, you know, I do believe in the divine feminine. Um, I do believe in that, and what happened to Kevin Samuels? I think that was God who came and well, you know, because my father is in the hospital bed, and he never degraded anyone, but he is also tired of black women having low self esteem as well. Um, and and the thing is, he's in the hospital because he had a he collapsed, and and I think it was due to stress. But you know, he was a great dad to me, and to me, I think that maybe black women should try and date outside of the black race, and and the and the black men who's trying to scare black women out of dating outside of the race, claiming they care about black women. What about Asia McGowan? What happened to her at the college she was going to? What about her? Nothing but crickets. But you keep hearing about Lawrence Smith Fields and the white dude, which I still think she died because if the drugs killed her. I don't think the white man had anything to do with it, but as soon as it came out, they latched onto it. It's like they want to make fun of black black women's deaths so bad. And this is the part, and this is well, I was on Courtney Michelle's channel one time, and she derailed the conversation and saying that white men are killing black women the most when that's not even true. You see, I'm this is why I don't really think that you know black women should have mammies, pick mishas, and mules as friends, because once you do and they set you up, it's only a matter of time before you be on the news and something bad happens to you, and all of a sudden your friend doesn't say anything about it, and and you know, and about the not believing the children thing, and this is also the main reason why I despise today's black men. This is also one of the main reasons. It's not all of us, but it's enough for it to
But I wanted to
be
say real
two of
quick to
us.
you, Alex. Um, these Kevin Samuels wasn't today's man. He was old. You feel me? He had no business spewing old ideas on the internet because that's all old stuff. He wanted to take us back to the 1960s, 70s, or 50s, wherever back in the day. So he's not even a modern man, but he's talking about modern women and like like you feel what I'm saying? Like he's past reproduction age. He's past the age where he should really be talking about dating at all, you know? So I just wanted to say that real quick. It's like he's not relevant. He shouldn't have been giving any dating advice. He was old. He wasn't successful in any of his relationships. So he really had no business telling black women any damn thing or men.
That's so true. And something that you said, Alexander, was about black women um, strengthening our esteem. And do y'all know that Kevin and all of his little folks would not be able to be successful if we didn't need validation or weren't seeking validation or needing somebody to tell us just how awesome and amazing we are just as we are, naturally with our thicker bodies and bigger noses or with darker skin or lighter skin or whatever it is that they wanted to say. Like, if we had that high collective esteem where we just knew that that it was their loss, this whole thing wouldn't have been able to go as far as it did. So when you talk about the mammies and the pygmishas, to me, a mammy is a woman that is defending and uplifting and supporting a man, a flawed man that has not yet addressed his own flaws. So when you talk about those mammies and pygmishas, those are the women who felt like it was something wrong with them, or they were inadequate, or they weren't deserving of love or relationships, like someone else mentioned. And that's how this whole thing got to where it was. And it's my hope, it's my prayer, it is my desire for the mammies and the pygmishas to step it up. You know what I'm saying?
But is that even what?
Feeling bad on yourself, feeling as if you're not good enough will never get you a man that feels that you are. You got to start first with yourself.
But I don't know if that's accurate though.
Okay.
I don't know if that's accurate in regards to in that aspect. A lot of the things that y'all talking about, y'all labeling it, y'all. I feel it sounds like y'all labeling the things that he was applying towards high value men as if he was saying that this is the qualifications to date a black man. I don't remember him conflating the two. I think women came on there. They said they wanted a high value man, and he told them, well, to get a high value man, he spoke generally a lot. He said, generally, this is the standards you have to meet.
But he doesn't know because he wasn't a high value man.
No, I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm not here to.
Well, I'm telling you, he was wrong.
I'm not here to defend him. I'm not here to say he's right or wrong. I'm saying I don't recall him saying these are the qualifications you need to date a black man. I recall him saying, and I
He
think
shouldn't
this.
be giving anybody qualifications to date
I tried
anybody,
not to cut
especially high
nobody
value
off.
men, since he wasn't a high value
I
man.
tried my best not to cut nobody off. I didn't say anything. I'm just trying to get one point across.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
That one point is this. My one point is this. I thought it was good advice when he said, with regards to black men, you shouldn't get married till after 30 when you know you got your affairs, your life, your money in order, so you can be in a position to lead the right way. I thought that's good advice. I don't know where this sector. I mean, there may have been a small sector that followed him blindly and took the things he said and exaggerated to the nth degree. But when you start talking generally, and then you say everybody, and you say all black men, and like the same thing, the same way he talked when he did talk generally about women, I didn't agree. But the same general assumptions that he made, the same general assumptions that y'all are labeling. Again, because you guys are using they, all, and you're generalizing at your small worldview, your small experiences in life don't correlate to all.
that's true. I understand where you're going with that. But first, let me ask you, do you consider Kevin to have been a high value man?
I didn't know him well enough to even know. I didn't know his finances. I don't know his relationship status. I don't know where his place in life. I just know he was a YouTuber. So I'm not one to tell anybody they're high value or not unless I know you personally.
But you would accept his opinions and ideas of a high value man and his lifestyle.
Just like I've heard you say opinions that are true and I can accept them, that I can agree with, and I don't know you, it's the same way I can accept to some of the things that he says to be accurate and true, or something that I can take down and go with. Do I take everything he says as fact? No. Do I take everything you say as fact? No. But it would be stupid of me to just listen and not take anything from it, just like it would be stupid of me to not hear what you guys have to say and not take anything from it.
Well, see,
This is why don't nobody like talking to y'all though. I just want to say that real quick.
What's
Go ahead.
y'all? This is talking to me.
Black men.
But I don't know what I said that was disrespectful. I'm saying
It wasn't disrespectful. It was just not smart. It was
what was
very,
not smart.
it was very deflective. It was very
But
disingenuous.
what was
Um,
disingenuous?
well, Goldie asked you specifically, do you think he's a high value man? And you was like, well, he could say,
How can I
well, it
tell
don't, just
how?
because it don't matter because sometimes he's still right. Like he
But
wasn't a high value
but
man.
how can
Hold on, let me
how
finish.
can
You
I
asked me a
say
question. I'm
anybody's
giving
high
you the
value and I
answer.
don't know him?
well,
It's not.
is that
That,
if you will accept him posing or advancing or promoting himself as a high value man or speaking for high
I,
value men or speaking on high value man ideals, and if you will accept that and not challenge that, and as a collective of black men,
I
you guys
have challenged it.
wait, hold on. As a collective of black men, you guys promoted him to just an amazing level on YouTube and beyond. Then you have to be honest and admit that you see him as a high value man, or at
I
least
I
that's
challenged a lot of stuff that he said. I didn't take it all as fact. And again, I don't lean on his definition of what a high value person is supposed to be for mine. For me, I have to know you to even label you anything. So just because I'm not ready to label him something, because y'all asked me on the spot, I didn't know him well
Which,
enough to label him.
but
but
you
that means that if you're not going to label him as a high value man, how can you accept his opinion on anything that a high
I
value man?
I don't know Goldie, but I was able to accept some of the things that she said as reasonable and logical.
Right, but the dangerous thing about
I don't
high
have to know
value, a
you
black
to hear
man talking
logic.
about
You
high
just
value
have
is
to
there's
have
very
logic. You just have to be able to reason and deduce things on your own. You don't have to know, like, just be whoever says it. Like this guy the guy Alexander, I don't know him. He actually said a few things that I could take away from him. I don't know his degrees. I don't know if he's even high value himself. You don't have to have these labels to speak on these things. Everybody is intelligent enough to make one smart point, but everybody also can say stupid things. You just have to be reasonable
that's like
enough
a
to
McDonald's
split between the
worker
two.
saying what it's like to be president and saying what a president does on a daily basis, a person that works at McDonald's. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. I know black men have a hard time with equivalency. So I understand that you're trying to deflect as well, but I'm trying to explain to you that Kevin Samuels wasn't a man. He just reached, I guess, a good amount of in his bank account or net worth recently within the past, what, maybe 5 years tops. Kevin Samuels was not a high value man. Okay. And so for him to say anything about what a high value man would expect, finds desirable, or anything of that nature is insane because he has no authority. He has no knowledge. He is basically projecting on what he thinks high value is.
I agree with that take,
Okay. So nobody should ever
but I
listen to
never came in here saying I agree with everything he said either.
Nobody said that you should say that.
So, like I said, don't put me in the box of people
Okay.
who
uh,
run with his high value takes. I never can. I just said I don't believe Goldie's definition of high value, her explanation. I didn't feel like that was accurate. I never came here saying I agree with everything he said with regards to high value men.
He shouldn't have been talking about them at all. Is my
That's your opinion, though.
um, uh,
um,
um, and I'm sorry if I cut anyone off, but uh, again, I just wanna I also think that high value is, is a character, is the character of the man. You
right.
see, I do this this little I equate what I read in the comic books and the character development, and I also equate that to high value because the character development has to be the main thing. It's cool if you have money, but if you don't have good character, and it's like if there is a book, a special book or movie that you watch, and and there is no character development. There is no journey that the man takes. Who's going to watch that movie or read the comic book? Mm, and and to my knowledge, nobody would want to read it because the character development isn't there. It's just not.
But
And
you can't eliminate money because I can have all the character in the world, but if I got to come sleep on your couch, you got to trust in
Character
my
people with
character.
character
You got to
wouldn't be
trust in my
broke.
character that I'm eventually going to get off the
Obviously, that
couch and
person
build
doesn't have
something.
good character then.
It
See, a
has to
broke
have
person, no, you see, that's what the
it has to
thing
have
is.
money involved in it as well.
Well, if you no money, okay. Well, but if you say if somebody has the right integrity and the right character, the money is going to be a given. We don't have to talk about that because it's going to come naturally if a person is properly aligned and in sync on their purpose and with good character and integrity. A person with good character and integrity is not going to be
There's
sleeping
a
on
lot of
couches.
good character
And
people that are
no,
broke.
that's not true. There's no
There
such
are.
thing as a good broke man. That's no such thing.
I see.
Period.
Well,
and
I just want to say something. Hi FYF, right? That's your name. So this is Cheri. I just want to say to you. So I kind of got your point, but it seemed like you was picking out a small grain of salt and not the totality of that man's message. So I just want to know from you: are you here trying to defend him?
No. What you said is exactly what I do with everybody. I pick a small grain of salt from what you say, and I just really tend to look for the positive and pluck that, and then put every because yeah, I could take things from what everybody says, put it all together to come up with the best strategy. But if you just run with one person's strategy, that's a flawed strategy. To get behind him blindly and just run with everything he says, that would be stupid. But to pluck a few things that sound logical and then apply that to some of the things that y'all saying, that makes more sense as opposed to just running behind one person. I don't do that. So yes, I do
you,
pluck small grains and nuggets.
Wait, hold on one second, Alexander. Let me ask you, FYF. Um, can you tell us about? Wait, baby, hold on for 1 second. Can you tell us about? Wait. Can you tell us about?
I think she
Can you
muted.
tell us about some of the things that you didn't agree with him? And yeah, I would like to first know about some of the things you didn't agree with.
The physical stuff, the physicality stuff. That's what
Anything.
that's what I said. The physicality stuff, because that's a point that I wasn't even aware of that Bossy brought to our attention when she came to our channel, and I actually did a little bit more research on it. The stuff where he was talking about being physical, spanking and hitting. I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with that particular narrative. The so much emphasis being placed on I think towards his hand, I think towards the end, a lot of the emphasis started to flip towards just it all being about money or finding a partner who is not chasing an educational goal. I think that's stupid. I mean, you obviously want somebody who's intelligent or pursuing business goals. I would want somebody that's business minded like me, right? So again, there's a lot of things to it. That logic right there, I understood that I can't agree with. I'm not going to agree with everything somebody says, but I'm not going to hate them because I don't agree with everything. I try to pluck the positive and move on.
Okay, now disagreeing doesn't mean that you hate them.
Real quick, if you don't mind, what do you think? Did you see the video about him talking about single mother not basically not believing their children being when they claimed that they were being assaulted sexually? Do you agree with him in saying that? Oh, protect you should because the woman he basically asked the woman um if your daughter comes home and says that I was looking at her getting out of the shower, would you believe her? And he was like, oh, you shouldn't believe your children, not even if it's their own biological father. Oh, you should just say, oh, girl, that's your daddy. So do you believe his rhetoric that we shouldn't trust our children's abuse accusations? Do you think that
I
that was a good
I
thing for him
I
to be on the
didn't.
platform saying
I would
as a
have to
57-year-old grown man?
I would have to research it and see what was
It's
said
on my
exactly.
channel. You can go look it up, the full
No,
clip.
I'm sure. I'm saying I would have to research it and hear it out because I didn't hear that. Like I said, I'm not an avid watcher, daily watcher where I would hear everything.
So then,
If
but
it
okay,
is
so but
as
if
you
those are the
explained it,
things, because I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna let you know that if these are the things that are concerning Black women, him degrading us to just sexual objects, no better than what we look like, and if we can cook and be submissive, also if we have children and he decides he wants to be a stepfather, but he also attacks our children, you're saying that like this is he was saying very dangerous, disgusting things about Black women and children. And so my thing is if people are outraged about it and now satisfied that he has been taken up out of here by a higher power, why do y'all want to defend that? He was a disgusting human being.
I don't
Just let it
I don't
be.
recall defending anything. Like I said, I pluck what
That's
I
what you're
agree
doing
with.
up here right now.
I,
Well, I
am not
take a grain of
defending
salt.
him
You shouldn't
because
take a grain of salt from a
I
demon.
don't, again, because there's
Someone
certain
who's
things. Like I
spewing
said,
spewing
I'm not going to label the host of this show the enemy because there's points that I disagree with, even if I
well,
disagree
you
with
should. That
vehemently.
means that you have a
That would
lack of
be
a moral
illogical.
compass. That
That'd
means
be
you have no
emotional to me.
integrity.
But you
But
know
most
what?
Black men don't.
Can I jump?
That'd be like Trump. I don't agree with some of the stuff that Trump did, but I feel like overall he's a much better president than Biden because of the positives.
This
See,
is
I'm not
YouTube.
jumping
This is social
behind.
media. This is not
It
presidency.
doesn't matter. It's the same
Yes, it
logic.
does.
It's the
It
logic,
absolutely does.
but you got to
Because these
follow the
people are
logic.
being on on a platform and they have what is called
Unfortunately,
influence.
I don't join teams. I don't take sides. That's what I don't
Anyways,
do.
I'm about to jump off this panel because I can't do
Yeah,
Dusty's, but
but you
And
um
I don't move to the tune what other people say. I have to hear it for myself and then give it my own deduction.
But you know
Um,
what, FYF, we were talking about the collective of Black men, and collectively, you all stated more than one time that Kevin was speaking for all of you and speaking for what all of you thought. And when you say that you need to hear this out or research or try to conflate who I am with who Kevin was and the influence, the vast influence that he had, and the vast platform that he spewed a whole bunch of bullshit on, and we all knew it was bullshit, and y'all don't want to y'all don't want to readily acknowledge that, and, and be honest about what you supported and propelled into, mega
right.
YouTube land.
but
That's the reason why Black men are suffering and in the position that they are in
but
now.
we
It's
just
not
did a we
always,
just did a whole stream a
it's not
week ago on
it's
things that we
not
disagree with him.
wait, hold on,
It's
we're
not about disagreeing, it's about the influence.
but one thing I was gonna
You can't
say
control that.
is that I did look on your page, FYF. I don't see any
I
videos.
have another channel, y'all. It's
Okay,
not my
so
only channel.
let me look it up because I want to see you.
Whatever happened to the news TV?
Okay, let me check it out. I'll check it out.
Just started it probably like a month ago.
Okay, I want to.
Just to dive off into these other topics because my channel is primarily the FYF is primarily for sports, so it's hard to mix that type of commentary with sports. Different crowd, different base.
So I got another question for you, FYF. So then, as a Black man, you are a Black man, right?
Yes.
So what are your solutions for all of these issues that you're hearing Black women stating?
Man, that's the $1 million question. I think it's gonna take both sides coming together, having some type of accountability for the flaws that they both created, and then like for example with men, obviously there's a lot of issues there that again the mindset with men is it seems like to tend to blame other people the for the problems and pitfalls that they have, as opposed to having accountability and then finding ways to rectify it and fix it, build off of it and be better, wanting people to feel sorry for them. That is something that's persistent, and especially with the Black men in the community. But like I said, this is something that's going to take years and years of training, trying to get people out of it. Like I try to do my part, especially with my channel, as far as teaching the business stuff and the literacy stuff and all that. But it's so much stuff. We got the mentality in the hoods. If you look in the hoods, the mentality in the hood, that hood mentality is what's tearing us apart. It's a very, very weak emotional mentality where we become so violent. The reacting violently is not tough. That's not being a man. But when you grow up in the hood, you're thinking to react violently, to go shoot or fight, That's what makes you a man. We got to change that mindset because nobody's thinking. So I mean, it's we got to fix things on our own. It's gonna definitely take platforms as big as Kevin Samuels to start coming together, calling that out, as opposed to pointing the finger to the other side.
And so, what do you feel like? Where do you feel that black women have dropped the ball? Where do you feel that we need to improve?
Oh man, I feel like I don't. It's hard for me to say. Like I feel like the same sentiments that I have for men is the same sentiments that I think are going left with the women as well. That's what I believe. The always pointing the finger, blaming the other side as opposed to looking to yourself. Um, a little bit of overreaction, emotional responses, even in not being receptive to, you know, I can give an example. Like when I was out in Chicago, I was at like a community center, and I said something to a young dude at a YMCA in Stony Island, but I think he went and told his mom that I said something to him, and she was, "Don't tell my son this, that, and the other." And it's just like, well, if there's nobody else to tell him this, or tell him there's other options, or don't do this, then what's wrong with somebody in the community stepping up and doing it? So being more acceptive to help, especially if it's productive and positive. So, but that's something, the best solutions are gonna come from the women need to come together. Y'all gonna come up with the best solutions, and I think the men need to get together. They'll come up with the best solutions, and then you ready to come together. But you're not gonna find a man that's gonna be able to create solutions for women, and women ain't gonna be able to create solutions for men. It just ain't gonna work. You gotta do it for yourself.
Okay, I was a little distracted. What did he say that black women need to be doing? Thank you for
Brains
coming up, bossy.
doing exactly what you're doing, brainstorming amongst yourself ultimately, because I don't think men are gonna be able to find a solution that works for y'all, and y'all ain't gonna be able to find a solution that works for men. You just gotta be accountable, identify your own issues, and work amongst your own to fix it.
Okay, but see, the thing is like when we having this conversation right now, like you aren't being honest. See, the thing is that the breakdown the breakdown comes in at a really fundamental point in relationships between black women and black men. And it's simply because black men do not want to create solid commitments, solid relationships with women. Black men are not legacy minded men for the most part as a collective, especially the younger of you guys, the 20 to 40-year-old of you guys, are not legacy minded men who don't create families, who don't see value in in traditional values or family life.
Yeah,
Hold
I can agree with that.
Okay, hold
I
on.
don't disagree with that. I'm saying,
Okay, so
but
wait, hold on once. I gotta put her on pause so I can finish my statement. That's where the initial and fundamental and most destructive breakdown happens. It's not that we can't have conversations and I can't see your point and you can't see my point, or my attitude is so terrible that you can't live with me, or you so dusty that I'm sneezing all day around you, or you refuse to work, or yada yada yada. It's the fact that in with the very basic first basic steps of relating in a romantic way with a black woman, most black men drop the ball by not making the connection secure and stable and respectful and traditional. And that's something that you guys don't want to acknowledge and accept. And when we talk about having these conversations, when you all approach the conversation respectfully, FYF, in the way that you're doing it, it it only the only result that could come of it would be a circular argument because you are failing to acknowledge the fundamental breakdown, and it's something that only you can fix and be responsible
oh,
for.
my question would be to you: what do you think black women can fix? Since you won and you understand the issues coming from your side, what do you think y'all can fix? And I'll address what black men can fix from our end. See, and
What,
that's where you would want to start. What can
okay,
y'all fix amongst yourself? That would be the accountability.
okay, from my perspective, Black women can begin to stand firm in their standards and boundaries. We can stop giving people the benefit of the doubt or accepting the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. We can have the same expectations that every other race of woman has when it comes to relating with people of the opposite gender or creating a family or building a legacy for yourself. Black women can stop accepting excuses and reasons why and explanations as to why the man coming to her to create a life with her is not fully whole and complete upon before he is connecting with her. One thing that you said is that you don't think that guys should get married until they're 35. Now, y'all likely
I didn't
wouldn't
say
marry.
that.
Okay, well, somebody else said 30 to 35 or something like that. But y'all likely wouldn't marry another 30 to 35-year-old woman. So if you are waiting that long, what about those women in your own age group who are interested in marriage as well? Do they have to marry an older man um, that would be 30, that they would be younger than, just to meet up with this fictitious timeline that black men are advancing when it doesn't take 12 adult years for y'all to get y'all shit together. It doesn't take 12 adult years for you to establish a work history, for you to pull in a good income, for you to get some property or some value to your name, for you to have shown commitment to something, for you to be ready to step into fatherhood or parenting. Like it doesn't take 12 years, but y'all will push it from 30 to 40 to even 50 just to give you more time to bullshit around. And the buck stops here when it comes to when we talk about solutions and what women can do and what men can do. Women can start by not accepting the excuses and the games and the manipulation that y'all like to come with. Even the gaslighting that y'all try to pull over our heads, like what y'all doing now. One thing I see happening in the next couple days is y'all gonna try to forget that Kevin Samuels terrorized black women just 2 weeks ago. Y'all gonna try to forget that he built a whole platform that impacted black women worldwide just a couple days ago. And then if we give y'all enough airtime, y'all will start talking about how everybody is against y'all and y'all victims and there's no other choice. When in reality, y'all continually drop the ball. You don't want to be accountable and you don't want to
And,
acknowledge where you're failing and what you can do better.
am I part of that, y'all?
Black women would do a great service to ourselves if we start calling y'all out on the bullshit, stop ignoring it, and only dealing with those guys and considering those guys as high quality, high caliber, high value men who got their shit together and who
Yeah.
come from a
So
family
so so
who
when
also
so
have their
if I
shit
told you that those are the things that we actually do, and you heard that on the platform, then
together. No,
I
I'm
couldn't
happy.
then I couldn't be a part of that, y'all. It's
No,
in my community.
but see, you
But
know what? The conversation always derails when one of y'all want to make it an individual conversation. I'm not talking
no, I
about.
said my community.
Okay, I'm well, your community has a percentage, a high percentage of beyond 50
No,
of out of wedlock birth.
but you haven't spoken to anybody from my FYF platform.
But listen, see, now I understand why Bossy left because you starting to you
Yeah, she's
start,
not referring to anyone where it doesn't apply. Okay? If it
But
doesn't
she's
apply to you, there's no need to take it personally.
I'm
yeah,
not
but
taking
I'm
it
talking about
personal. I'm saying if you
I don't need
generalize and say
nobody
Well,
on the
y'all,
FYF platform in order to say that at 70% or rates of 70%, y'all are creating children out of wedlock and y'all blaming the women for giving birth instead of blaming yourself for not using the condom when you know.
who is the y'all blaming? Like I don't know where this
I'm
y'all
talking
is coming.
about the 70% of black men
he's going into semantics.
yeah,
Oh,
that you belong to. But see, Mela, that's the reason why they are stagnant.
Now
Because
I'm stagnant.
as as educated as he wants to sound,
yeah.
as non-confrontational as he wants to sound, he still refuses to acknowledge
But
that
I am though.
truth.
I'm
Well, sir, well, I don't mean to call you sir. I don't know you from a can of paint, and I mean that respectfully. I want to introduce to you the concept that the word power has a noun and a verb. And it is my
I know.
observation
I know.
that Black men practice the noun and they don't practice the verb when it comes to power. And that's the problem. Black men,
I acknowledge
they
that.
focus
That is
on the
true.
noun.
That's true.
Okay. That's all we're saying.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that's something that, at least within my small platform, we've acknowledged, and we're trying to reverse course on that.
Okay,
What you
well,
said is factual.
now y'all need to get an army of
No, I
1.4.
don't need to get an army because
No,
I
you
can't
do.
fix
No,
everybody.
you do because y'all
No,
propelled Kevin Samuels' platform. You are a part of it.
I
And when
never was on his platform like that.
when
You
I
probably
first
watch more than me.
maybe I did, but when I first met you, you came over here trying to drag me in the name of
I
the
never
grandma.
dragged you. I never
Do
dragged
you
you.
have a forecast as to how many black men you can reach this time next year?
Oh yeah, the goal is it's starting right now with 30K. The goal is to
Uh-huh.
now flip it into 100K. But the thing is, it's to do it
By
through
this time
logic.
next year,
Oh yeah,
100K this
because
time
it's
next
only
year.
been a year. Because it's
We'll
only
hold
been a
you to
year.
that.
I've only been doing this for a year and a half, so it's already at 30K. I'm gonna flip that to 100, and we're
You
gonna do the
gotta
same
love a
thing.
man with a plan. We'll hold you to that.
I mean, like I said, like just, you'll see it. I know. I talk to people about how we gonna do it. We do this all the time. This is, and we willing to accept and hear where we might go wrong. What you said about the power was 100% facts. I understand that. I own that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of the people that we talked to on our platform understanding on it. But now it's about how do you get to a solution? I think the solution is trying to find a way to get into their minds. First, you got to change the way they think. And the way a lot of black men think right now is what's killing us. That's what's killing us. The mind, the thinking, the logic. They don't know how to use a lot of logic. So first, you can't. We
Okay.
can't just jump from A to Z. We got to fix what we can right now, and the logic, starting with the logic, the
Okay.
reasoning, and the ability to want to have somewhere with all to want to go out there and learn. That's where we can start. Now, if you have another solution, maybe you can start at another angle. I can't fix everything at once. I can only try with the knowledge that I have and with the small community that I have, and we all try to build and learn from each other from there. But I can't fix everything at once. I'm not gonna profess or act like I can.
Okay, so FYI, I have a question for you again. So you say you're doing a lot with your community. What is your support system? What does your support system look like for young black guys? And what demographic? Are we talking about 15 to 25? So if you get a young black guy and he comes to you and he says, I'm selling drugs, or I got this girl pregnant, or whatever the myriad
Mm-hmm.
of something could be,
Uh
what
huh.
is your support system for him?
Support system is like this. So we've actually had a whole bunch of situations like that because I put my contact information publicly, and people reach out, say they're in a similar situation just like that. I say the number one thing you can do is take those skills, whatever you're using to make money in the streets. Now, again, I can show you how to flip that, start your own business with Amazon, show you how to source inventory at a very low cost or at no cost at all through drop shipping, and we can show you how to take that business mindset that's already intrinsically in you that you're using for the wrong reasons now, which is drug dealing or scamming or whatever you're doing. But now we can flip that and do it, turn it into something legal, and you can actually make more money doing it that way. But that's what I've done now, and we have a financial literacy group on Facebook. Obviously, we have the new channel now. We've done videos on SEO, how they can start their own channels and platforms, and try to start building from there. But again, these are just small things I can do in a small. I got to try to maybe fix 10 people, and then maybe
Mm-hmm.
them 10 people get their minds right. Maybe they can fix another 10, but it has to start to multiply like that. I can't try to fix 1 million people myself.
It
That just
sounds
ain't
like
gonna
you
work.
have a plan, and that's better than complaining. That's for sure. Now, as far as women and what we, because I think your question was, what can women do? And the channel holder, she announced that. Was her answer satisfactory, or do you need more?
No, I don't need more. I mean, I gotta accept your answer for what it is. Um, do I think that the answer was disingenuous a little bit? Yeah, but her answer
Okay,
is what
okay,
it
okay.
is.
We're not gonna go past. Okay, do you want to ask every woman and then find out whether or not we, as you would say, are also disingenuous, or do you want to just stick with the remembrance that it was disingenuous,
No, but you gotta understand what I said.
ingenuous, or
I
whatever,
said
however you
I
pronounce
said
it?
I thought her answer was a bit disingenuous. I didn't say y'all or label it generally like apply it to
Exactly. I know
everyone.
you're not the type of man to label, to use y'all, and that's why I'm asking. Do you want to
Yeah, I can. I
inquire?
would love to hear from you if that same question. I would
Well,
love to
you
hear
have
your
no
answer.
idea what my name is. Let's formally introduce ourselves, shall we?
I'm Lamont.
Lamont, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Mela.
Good to meet you.
All right. Let's consider that in this day and age, at this time, fortunately, women can afford to be abstinent. It is not that serious to succumb to a man's um, pressure for you to engage in things that will physically result into procreating outside of wedlock. And that's my solution. I believe that young women can afford to be abstinent, and thereby men are developing, because men, in my humble opinion, you could tell me if I'm wrong, men operate by a reward system. And if they are not rewarded for talking slick, okay, then they can't get nothing from that. If they're rewarded for their actions that result in commitment that is traditional and long lasting, well, forever lasting, that is the reward system that women could take upon themselves to establish. Like, we have to change the reward system paradigm. The reward system paradigm is the key to these men's behavior as to why they think they can slick talk some young woman into um, situations and circumstances that find her, dare I say, abandoned with a child that, a child from a man she initially believed in. Because you all are slick. You all will talk a woman into believing in you, like, and she places her hopes, dreams, and everlasting glory in your lap, and you were playing a game the entire time. And what I'm suggesting is that it's important for a woman to initiate the standard module of abstinence. That's what I think the solution is.
And I agree with that 100% because I've done that myself at one point in time. That's how I know it's true, right? You try, you finesse as much as you can, knowing that you have no real intent there. So that's 1,000% facts right there. But like
Because if
even
you notice over a period of time, especially since um, birth control became legal and all this other kind of stuff,
yep,
everybody was exploring they were, they were frolicking, for lack of a better word, right? And without the governance of knowing what you're getting into, the, you know, the results of irresponsible behavior has brought us here to where we have these statistics that are out of the frame. It's like, where in the heck are these statistics coming from of young people winding up in situations that could have been prevented if it weren't for not accommodating their own sense of the reward system paradigm? Because men are only going to push an envelope as far as you present it. If you don't present that envelope, they can't push it. And that's because that's their nature. It's in a man's nature to push the envelope. It's in his nature to see what he can get away with it, whether or not he can get away with it. And when I say it, that could be anything. That could be talking you into doing something that you never thought you would do, or believing in him, not knowing that he was fooling in the first place, just so he could tell his boys he got some. And those things are emotionally detrimental, and dare I say, generationally detrimental. And so I know, as a woman, we want affection, okay? We want intimacy. However, what we best benefit from hormonally is the ability to abstain from those urges. Men cannot, and that's why the reward system, um, they were able to talk women into doing things to the point where they have established the reward system. It's like, look, you ain't even got to give her nothing more than whatever, and she going for it. And so the bar for the reward system has been lowered to such a degree we have all these statistical problems. I would suggest that it is in the woman's embrace to redirect the reward system that men just can't control. They operate by a reward system. So to control that, you have to raise the bar through abstinence. And I hope people understand where I'm coming from.
I
But it
like
is,
that.
you know,
I gotta
well, tell me
I gotta
why
give you
you
my
like it.
because
Tell me why you like it.
I like that answer because again it gets to right, it gets to the understanding of both sides. It's accountability from your side, but also the understanding there's some things intrinsically in men that you just aren't going to be able to fight and change. So when you come to that understanding from both sides and you meet it, then you know what you have to do on your end. So you looked at the men's side, you look at what the women's side, and you said, okay, now understanding what we know about men and understanding what we know about women, this is what I see as a feasible plan going forward. That's
Hmm.
what I liked about it right there. And you know,
And also to
obviously,
mention, if you don't mind me saying so,
no, go
also
ahead.
to mention, because men appreciate prestige, you know, to stand higher than other men, that's why the whole prostitution being legalized won't have an impact, because no man will ever be content with settling for, like, okay, she won't give me none, she won't give me none. Well, I'm gonna go over here where it's easy to get some. That won't ever work for the reward system paradigm that a man is walking around with, because he has to have something that's a trophy in his possession. And a prostitute is not a trophy. That's why legalizing prostitution is not a threat to women. It's never been a threat to women, because you men, and your reward system mentality also includes comparing yourself to the conquering of other men. So that's just adding something more to your deck of cards and tricks that you hold in your testosterone, right? It's like, look, okay, you talking all this smack about me, but look at this wonderful, virtuous woman that I have as my wife. But see, if guy is clowning you in all types of other directions, and you have a prostitute that you settled for as a wife, you can't claim that. So prostitution will never be a trump over virtuous a virtuous lifestyle. Like a woman with a virtuous lifestyle that practice abstinence and refuses to cater to the reward paradigm that has been perpetrated for the last couple of decades, she will come out on top. She is she is what is to be desired by a man. And all we have to do as women is establish ourselves, because we have the hormones to do it. We don't have to be hot in the ass out here, okay? We have the hormones to not be hot in the ass. Forgive my term, but I'm serious. We have the hormones compared to them. They're the ones with the raging hormones. All we have, and because it's legal for us to be able to say no, thank God, okay? Because it's legal for us to acquire income for ourselves and livelihoods for ourselves. We can abstain from catering to the perpetuation of that low bar reward system that they have been playing on us for decades, since birth control had become legal. When birth control became legal, man, all hell broke loose, and it's time to redirect the focus. That's my humble opinion.
yeah, I don't I'm gonna have to go here in a second because I got my dogs are going crazy in the background. I don't want that noise messing up the stream, but I did put my email in the private chat for you because I would love to have you and Goldie as well, because I don't want nobody feeling like it's hostile over there on my channel. Whatever happened to the news TV, just to have this, we can build on the discussion, and you can have more men up there that's gonna talk and deal and reason, because we don't let things get out of control and the bullying and none of that. We really don't allow that to happen. But I would love to have both of y'all on there to kind of continue this conversation. And like I said, because it's a conversation that needs to be had.
You
But
know
we
what I would
can't be
prefer?
fighting everybody all the time.
You know what I would prefer?
What?
This is just me speaking for myself. I would prefer that you promote her channel
Yeah, that's what I
and
would do.
and do a review of this of portions of this live stream that you found impactful. Um, you know, it's really not my personality to just accept any invitation
I feel
anywhere.
you.
And what I will do is ask you what your channel is so that I can find out what you up to and see if you a year from now you gonna make that $100,000 influential goal that you speaking about.
Oh, we already started. We on that. I got 2 channels. I'll put them in the private chat for you, so you can check them out. But
Tell the audience so they can follow you too. There's
I
strength in numbers.
that's on Goldie if she want me, because I don't really like to putting the promoting all that stuff on other people's channels. But that's why I say I'll throw it in the private chat for you if you want
But
it.
see, you didn't mind publicly inviting me to your email address. See, this is the thing that bothers me about black men. You all send mixed messages.
No,
Like
you.
either you're
But
proud of your goal or you're not.
now I understand. But when you're on YouTube, I feel like it's a certain decorum you have on other people's page. One of the things is I don't go
That's
around shouting it out,
respectful. Okay, I respect that.
shouting out your channel or other people's channels.
Is
That
Goldie coming back anytime soon, y'all? I've talked too much. I swear I talk too much. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm right here. I'm right here. I did put his channel down there. Yeah, I'm gonna start spending more time on here so we can build up my channel. Okay, thank you, Mela, for you know, doing your little brokering thing for me. Okay, so I'm getting some promotion over there on FYF. Okay, we want to
I
see.
got you. I
If,
got you.
Gosh.
No, actually, I put it on my big channel. I'll do the review on my big channel. Just
okay,
because I think it's a conversation that needs to be heard. I'll do the review.
okay, thank you, and thank you, Mela, for being about business. Okay.
My, my work here is done. God bless you, children.
Thank you so much. Well, I guess I'll do final thoughts. Y'all, it's been so nice hanging out with y'all. I was talking to Cheri before we got on, and I was so nervous. Y'all had no idea. And I'm like, girl, I'm scared. And she like, girl, click live. Okay. So I was so happy that we did it, because I would have talked her into doing it tomorrow morning. So thank you, girl, for forcing me to get on up here and get back in the swing of things. It's so much for us to talk about out here. And I'm really concerned about, I probably shouldn't be, but I really would like to see the next steps for black men of the manosphere, this space, or these online communities or whatever. I really want to see what y'all gonna do, because y'all talked a big game with Kevin. Y'all was talking so much shit. I want to see what y'all finna do. I want to see what y'all finna do. I listen. Everybody not gonna be rooting for y'all and everything, but I will be in my corner, clapping for y'all when y'all do some worthwhile. Okay, so hopefully y'all do a lot of worthwhile stuff so I can be there and clap my hands and snap my fingers for y'all. But this is, thank you so much, Gigi, and thank you for coming. This is such a pivotal time for black men right now, and I don't think y'all know it. I don't think y'all know how y'all look out here. um FYF, you did a good job of explaining it all away, but y'all look crazy. Y'all looking crazy out here, and it seemed like y'all refuse to accept or acknowledge that. A couple months ago, people in the manosphere, guys in the manosphere, was talking about going mainstream. And it was like, yeah, they wrote an article about L in L magazine or something. And yeah, a couple days later, they was like, oh yeah, it was a hit piece, but we're still getting mainstream, and St. Kevin
Hey,
is
I'm gonna go ahead and hop out, y'all. I appreciate you guys having me on, man. Thank you.
all right. You're welcome. Thank you for coming
All
up.
right, FYF.
And St. Kevin gonna take us mainstream. And it's like y'all don't know how to read the room. I want to see if through this situation y'all didn't learn how to read the room, and taking a look at other communities of men, and kind of what they're focused on and where they're heading at, and see if y'all gonna start having these conversations, because it makes no sense for you guys to be able to build up $1.4 million, million subscriber platforms on uh, YouTube and million on Instagram and all of this stuff, and y'all not producing nothing. Nothing fruitful, nothing of value is coming out of these conversations. It's good that you, as an individual, are doing it. FYS.
Yeah, he
It's
gone,
good. Yeah, it's
Goldie. He
good that
gone.
you doing it, but it needs to be a whole bunch
Shout
of
out to FYE. He is absolutely phenomenal. Shout
yeah,
out to him.
yes. And you, like Miller said, we want to see your platform grow, because if you mean what you say, more of y'all need to start doing that, because the change that we all need to see in the community is in y'all's hands. There's no amount of deflection or excuse making or blame shifting y'all can do to ever change that. Okay. Um, somebody
What's
said
up?
Tommy Sotomayor is the new Kevin Samuels. So get ready for the next boss man of Anti City Broads. Now, listen, I keep going back to this. Y'all don't know when y'all look crazy. Tommy looks so crusty and crazy, and Kevin did too. Just because of the rhetoric that y'all spewed, everybody laughed at y'all, and y'all just didn't know it. Y'all thought that they were laughing at black women or laughing with you, but everybody, including black women, during the reign of Kevin Samuels, were all laughing at you. We were all laughing at y'all, talking about high value men when y'all don't even believe in women being educated. Like, high value men would never go for that, but y'all said it out loud, and y'all would say, I don't care about your degree. Knowing that if you finna get with this woman and you are a man worth something, you're probably gonna marry her. And if your little soldiers work, you're probably gonna have children with her. And you got the nerve to say that you don't care if the woman who will raise your children has education. Y'all have no idea how dumb y'all sound. And I don't want to say it in a mean way, but I'm interested in seeing what direction y'all gonna go in next. I have high hopes for y'all. Everybody don't have them, but I have them for y'all, and I feel that with all of the genius in this space, y'all are gonna do some worthwhile things and surprise all of us. Okay, y'all with me?
Well,
Everybody else support me on that.
well, if I could say something, uh, you do have a lot of high hopes, and I wish you the best, and I wish y'all the best in y'all endeavors with that. And
My phone,
and
hold
now,
on. My phone is hot. If I drop off, it's not on purpose. I'm gonna go on mute, and I'm gonna hold on as long as I can. My
Okay,
technology is a trip.
okay, we're gonna
okay,
push
all
it down
right.
in the few anyway.
Yeah. So, what I had to get this in before we leave. So, to digress, you was talking about the divestment community, right? Of some of these divestors. Goldie, I'm like you. I'm a mom of two black boys, and so I agree with you. A lot of those divestors are insane. Those women are saying things that I cannot support. That, man, I hate to call it hate speech and agree with Dennis Sperling, but it is. It's hate speech. It's ridiculous. I don't let my sons listen to that stuff. You know, how did we get to that point? And a lot of these YouTubers are saying a lot of illogical things. So you a divester, but you hate little black boys. You don't want a little black boy to touch you. Um, but you're black. So the child that you have and the son that you have is not white. He's biracial. So to me, it's like self hate. How could you hate yourself? And that's the thing. When you hear women saying, I only want a white man,
Mhm.
okay, you don't love you. If you hear a black man saying, I only want a white woman, so that is a strong pathology, because you're asking somebody else to love something that you don't even love,
Mhm.
that you don't even like.
Mhm.
That's insane. So I
Mhm.
know you don't think that I'm rolling with them.
You know what? I guess I'm one of those fence people. I feel like women go listen, get you a multicultural roster. And when you're ready to settle down, snatch up the one that has put in the most work and proven himself to be wealthy. Have a, I said not wealthy, worthy, and have a
That's
criteria.
that subconscious.
I know myself, okay? Have a criteria that you use to guide you in assessing these guys and really determining if they're worth your time or not. Um so that's what I would like for us to do.
But
I
you know
just
what? You and Mela, you both made some good points, and I just remember yours a little bit more because to me, how I summed it up, what you were saying was black women, we have a tendency of falling in love with a man's potential. But
Mhm,
black men look at what black women are. They
mhm,
don't look at your potential.
yeah,
And so that's something that we really need to look at and change.
mhm,
Fall in love with him for where he is. Like we romanticize everything. Like, no, if he's not where you want him to be or need him to be, hey, kick that fish back and be patient and wait.
yeah. I just want to say that, listen, y'all, it's not a shocker, okay, that white men and non-black men want to date us, okay? Y'all should know that. Y'all should know that you can have any man in your sight, in your line of sight when you stepping out here. Of course, these white men and non-black men love black women, and of course, they will want to get with one of us. And now knowing that you have the ability, you have the option to choose which man you gonna take seriously. Really take some time and think about this guy that you are considering. And I'm talking about a man of any race. Evaluate them all the same, okay? And have the same standards and the same expectations for all of them. I feel like for those of us who, girl, ain't it funny raining? Yeah, I be having so much fun doing this stuff, okay? Whenever I sit down and do it, I be over here cracking up at myself, okay? But when we talk about dating out, we really need to make sure that we stick into our criteria. And I personally believe that we give black men too much leeway. We give them too much of the benefit of the doubt. We give them too much, oh, it's hard for a black man and they're targeted and, people don't treat them fairly. So I'm just going to accept this bare minimum from him. No, I think it was Mela that said this, but men respect boundaries, standards, expectations, challenges, all of that. They do not like women who just hand things over to them. So when FYF was saying that he thought I was being disingenuous, I was being serious. Rainer wrote it down there. Raise your standards and your own quality, and you'll begin to see to see that new standard, that new quality that you set for yourself more often. When I think of these women who talk about all black men or call all black men nakers and all of that stuff, I know that they are around a lower standard group of men or situation or mindset or ideology even for themselves. Because once you begin to elevate what you think about yourself and what's available to you and what your options are, and once you begin to acknowledge and accept and just know deep within that no matter what race of man he is, he wants you because you just that dynamic. You'll begin to see better options. I don't see a lot of nakers in my life. I don't see a lot of um, bummy, broke down black men because I did have that at one point in time, and that was in my early teens and stuff. When I decided that I wanted to create something different for myself, my social circle began to reflect that. So if your social circle is reflecting nakers and bums and loser black men who make all kind of excuses and all of that type of stuff, take a second and really think about if you are honoring yourself enough to live in your truth of what it is that you want for yourself and where it is that you see yourself going. And if you are honoring yourself enough to select only those things that'll get you closer to that. If you're honoring yourself enough to stand firm on your boundaries and stand in your standards and say, listen, this is not good enough for me, so I'm choosing to let this go. This is
You're
not good enough for me, so I'm not gonna accept that. Move on and be confident and know that what is good for you is on the way. What were you saying?
You no, you're absolutely correct. I totally agree with you, and I also agree with your point when you were saying we don't need to keep putting all our business out in these social media streets, because that's my concern, is that these non-black men, they're
Mhm,
in our spaces. Non-black people love to come in our spaces, the
mhm,
men and the women, and
mhm,
they're listening and they're waiting. Oh, these black women, we look thirsty. I'm just gonna keep it real. We look thirsty and desperate. Like,
yes.
oh, I'm just gonna go get me a white, just go get you any old white man. I'm just go get me a Latino man, just any old Latino man. Like, slow
Mhm,
down, like, and stop putting all your business out here of
mhm.
what's going on with us, our men. Just, hey, they say real gangsters move in silence. Move in silence and just make your moves.
Yeah. And know that everybody would love to have a chance with you. So it's never a question of, like they say, do you date black girls or are you interested in black girls? Listen, every man dates black girls. Now, if you're trying to marry, if you're a black girl that's trying to marry, you need to be clear on that and know what it looks like and move forward only in that. And that's what you will have to choose from. All right. If you out here moving in the, I don't know, I'm just feeling things out. I'm just gonna snatch up the first one that says something to me, or any white man or any Latino man, like you were just saying, then you're gonna have anything fall into your lap. But when you move with some intentionality, when you got some direction, when you got some focus, when you know who you are, when you know that you are a black woman who is amazing and highly coveted on every in every space on this earth, every corner of this globe, listen, you don't deal in lack. You have an abundant mindset, and the man that you want, whether he be white, black, Asian, whatever, is making his way to you. You have to be able to identify that. So, meanwhile, begin to sharpen your intuition, your vision, your perspective. Know what you want, know what you don't want, know what you're going to tolerate and what you will accept and what you won't accept. And most importantly, black women, we need to stop falling for the okey doke, because like that whoever said earlier, that it's 1,000 more Kevin Samuels waiting in the wings. It's so many men out here waiting to take advantage of us because it's easy and they don't have to put in no work. They don't have to go out here and get a real job. They don't have to go out here and sacrifice or work hard or dedicate or commit to anything. They can sit here and run game on black women and make a living off of it these days. Let's stop being so easy to make these people rich off of stepping on our necks. And when I'm talking, I'm thinking about that white YouTuber. We're gonna do a video on it. That white YouTuber Conan, whatever his, I can't remember his last name, but
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
he talk. I love black women. I love your skin. I love your hair. Like, say something real, okay? Because I know my skin is beautiful and I know my hair is bouncing and curling all up and through here. But really talk about what you like about a black woman. Just like when y'all out here interracially dating and expanding your options, have some interest in these men. Know about their culture. Know about a little bit about their history. Be able to talk about music or popular culture, or have some, thank you so much FIF, have some understanding of where they coming from, and that whole thing. Don't just be out here fetishizing, am I saying it right, fetishizing
Yeah.
fetishizing these men of other races and just going out here and grabbing you one. If you interested, learn more about them so that you can have a conversation that's not centered around how ain't shit most of these black men are, okay? So
Right.
okay, so yeah.
I mean, absolutely. I'm a historian, and so I'm always gonna go back to the history from 2,000 years ago and bring it all the way up to now. And so
Mhm,
my thing is too is us being American women. You may have to think about a man coming from a different country. Like, what is his culture? You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
There may be a very stark difference and you just like listening to YouTube and oh, I'm gonna go get me an Arab man. Do you know anything about what's going on?
Right. Girl, are
Okay.
you sure? Are you sure? You know what I'm
You
saying?
know, and that's the disingenuous part
Mhm,
that comes from the divestment movement. That's why I was asking FYI, what is it that you see that women could do better? Which,
mhm,
you know, he gave me a little bit of an answer for us, but not so much for the men, you know.
mhm,
But I accepted what he said.
mhm,
But the when you watch some of these divestment channels, right, and especially like the big one, they don't want to talk about slavery. They don't want to talk about Jim Crow. They
mhm,
act like white men descended from heaven. It's like, are you crazy?
mhm,
You know, so and that's what to me brings your channel down is when you got those gaps in your story, your gaps in your narrative. Like, tell the truth. You
mhm,
know, you taking it on an individual level, and you like kind of sitting some of the history to the side, and you know, you just gonna take it on an individual level. But at the same time, that man comes from a community. That man comes from a collective too,
mhm,
right? You know
mhm,
what I'm saying? And
mhm.
so we cannot negate white supremacy. That's real.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? Listen, we're gonna keep having some more conversations, and in this conversation, so many topics have come up. But one thing I've been thinking about this so much, y'all.
Mhm.
And it's part of the reason why I can't fall into that all black men or all black women thing. But
Mhm.
when I think about white supremacy, the systemic part of it, I believe, is alive and well. But I
Mhm.
believe that so many of us inadvertently are propelling or perpetuating this white supremacy by thinking that they're so much better than us or can do simple, basic things so much better than us. Like, there's there is okay, it's not hard to be in a relationship if you are heterosexual with a man or with a woman, if you are not with a woman or with a man, right? Like,
Mhm.
relationships, those are like the most basic things that humans do. It's like a natural thing, like you naturally gravitate to, a person that you're interested in. And for us to sit here and make it seem like we as black women or we as black men cannot figure out how to have a positive and healthy and fruitful and productive relationship with another black person is mind boggling to me. I
Mhm.
just can't get it. I cannot give non black people enough deference to think that the only way I can have a happy relationship or a good life is by going outside of my community. I just am not
I'm
there.
sitting on my hands, literally.
Huh?
I'm
Why? What's
sitting.
wrong?
I have so much to say about everything that has been said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait until it's my turn.
Go ahead, Melly, because listen, we're gonna close it down soon. But go ahead, Melly, tell us what you think. And listen, whenever we have a panel again, Cherie says she want to do this every Friday. Now y'all know she had to fight with me today. I'm gonna make it easy next Friday, okay? So y'all can meet us for sure next Friday around.
It's good to be consistent. That's a successful move right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really enjoy spending time with y'all tonight. So I'm thinking about 7 or 8, but y'all know my babies be in the background cutting up, okay? But y'all can catch us next Friday. We'll post it earlier, so that you will know what time it is on Friday. But y'all can expect us next Friday if Miss Cherie agrees, okay? But
Yeah, so you can have a co-host. That's important because you never know what happens.
and she's so good, and I
Yeah,
love that
she
she
is good.
deep in history. But if you decide to participate on the panel, I appreciate comments and all of that stuff. Also, y'all like the stream, share the video, sub to the channel, hit the notification bell, all of that stuff. But if you want to participate on the panel, don't hesitate to just jump right in there. Okay, just like listen, I'm gonna start putting that link down as soon as we get on, and I just want us to have a good space where we can converse and kind of iron some things out. So go ahead, Mela. Don't ever sit on your hands, okay, honey? Good night, Rainin. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you for sharing.
Hey, reigning woman. God bless you, sister.
Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again soon.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, Yeah. All right. Let's go from what I recently heard about this WS term,
Mhm.
otherwise known as white supremacy.
Mhm.
It's my proposal that we call it white fragility. And
Mhm.
I'll tell you why. If somebody's going around saying mela supremacy, right?
Mhm.
Why in the hell should I feel any type of way other than supreme about who I am?
Right.
Words matter.
Mhm.
And I petition that we make a conscious effort to consider it white fragility,
Mhm.
and as opposed to saying that WS term,
Yeah.
because that's giving them more credit than they deserve.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's my thought about that. The second thought is that because I'm trying to go from last to first. Okay. Um, men, men, men who ask for help. Let me try to get this together in my brain. Men who ask for help from a woman is volunteering to identify himself as weak,
Hey, Darren.
and is disguised as lack of respect. You know what I'm saying? Like when men are perpetuating black women don't respect us, what they're saying is, why won't you help us? You see what I'm saying? And men that look for help from their women are weak. So that's my thought about that. And shout out to FYE. He is not looking for a woman to help him. Him and his brothers can help themselves, and that's admirable. So I give him credit for that. Um, Another thing, right? Regarding women who set standards for themselves. Let's not negate the fact that there's this deception that men play against women who refuse to lower their standards called ultimatums. I want to view more live streams about how women can override ultimatums, because that's a very powerful conversation. Men will put a woman in a private situation after they've been out for a while, hell, even one date. They'll give them a condition. They'll introduce a condition that turns into an ultimatum. And he will convince her that she needs to see him again. Like, didn't you have a good time? Wasn't I good for you? I mean, it's not like you a virgin or something. I don't understand why, you holding back with this affection that I need. Obviously, you don't want me to continue to be good to you. That's the ultimatum trap, right? And I want women to not fall for that, because either he wants you or he wants to use you. And that, see, you got to, either he needs you for something that's beneficial for you both, or he wants to use you as a thing for himself. That's the ultimatum trap. And I'm not sure what else I had in mind. I'm trying to, me and my poor little brain. Um, I've heard everything you all said, and it was relevant, insightful, intelligent, and true. And I'm just grateful to have spent this time with you. Thanks for listening.
I'm glad to have met you, Mela, and I like everything you said. But as a historian now, you have piqued me, and Goldie trying to get up out the building. But so you said we should turn that phrase from white supremacy to white fragility. I can go with that, but I would pose this question to you. Then how should we gain black supremacy? Or is that even a concept that you think that we should
If
deal
they
in, and what would that mean?
Okay, that becomes the threat. See, that's the tricky part, right? Because they're really sensitive. Let's not escape the fact that they are fragile, and they're fragile. They're intimidated by us and our vibrational God-given gift. We have a God-given gift of vibration that they try to, intercept with all types of frequency disruptions and media propaganda and all that good stuff, right? So we're off vibration at the moment. However, it is because of melanin, we can get there. Okay. And they know that. That's why they're so active in disrupting it. So, with that being said, what I would suggest is that it would be dangerous, because I do try to put myself in the enemy's shoes and say, how would I try to suppress somebody that was coming after my crown? I do, have those imaginings. And what I would say is that any event, there is a first sign of someone going around talking about Black supremacy, I would exercise the power already established in my camp to shut that down. And so it has, and so there's well, I don't want to use biblical verses, but I'm going to. There is a biblical verse. We must deal wisely with them. And that's where you get your groove at. That's where you get your groove. Dealing wisely. It's not about, see, men are talking about, yeah, they want to have these violent ideations. And it's like the time for that has passed. You can't conquer anybody violently at this point. You have to do it wisely. And that takes innovative thought. That takes, something that's damn near supernatural. So to go around replacing the WS word with Black supremacy, in my humble opinion, wouldn't be wise, because I have put my feet in their shoes. And I thought to myself, if I'm sitting on top globally and I'm not trying to let anybody else get up here, what are the signs that indicate that I need to take something seriously? It would be when, like, the word Black supremacy start going around. Okay. It's like, oh, they playing games. Okay. Well, check this out. Here's this legislation. Here's this aggressive action. Here's this over here. Here's that over there. We're not in that position to fight that way. But what we can do is utilize something different.
No,
And
mhm.
okay.
Making some great points.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. Like, you don't want to be labeled as like what they tried to come out with, right? That Black extreme identity or something, whatever thing. So to me, Mela, I think, to your point, no, the revolution can't be fought physically at this point, because we have allowed them to get too far ahead of us, far as weaponry. At this point, to me, I've been saying for years, the first step in our revolution is to take back our families, to gain families, to have family. That is a revolutionary act. Love, loving
And
each other. That's
yeah, absolutely.
revolution.
And Afrocentric relics, right? Like
Hmm.
some emblem of a, like, I'm not trying to take anybody's fashion sense away from them. However, there there's something distinctive about Afrocentric relics, be it jewelry or items in your home. If they can identify that, by no means are you not going to tell me that my ancestors doesn't come from the motherland, then they have to give pause to what your commitment actually is in your spirit and soul. And so, I'm not trying to change anybody's wardrobe attire and how they shout and fraternize or whatever. What I am saying is that it's important to recognize that what all these people who think so lowly of our culture have in common, they accentuate the origins of their ancestors. And we've gotten away from that for, a number of different reasons. I'm not judging. What I'm saying is, it's not going to hurt you to have something Afrocentric to represent your presence. And, like, And it doesn't have to be like a dashiki every day. It doesn't have to be extreme, because what we don't want to do is clue them in to what we're approaching. We're approaching a global position of power that we deserve. That's going to take some time. I don't know if I'll live to see it. That's going to take some time, but it starts with these little steps of recognizing that we are distinctive, we are unique, and nobody could ever take that away from us. We fell asleep for a little while with the distractions of, media and songs and misguided frequencies that we allowed. We fell asleep for a little while. Thank goodness that for the time being, until they decide to disrupt us communicating with each other, because that could be coming too. Because if I think what they're doing with this Roe versus Wade stuff is not to try to make white women have babies. I think they're pushing the envelope to see what type of rights they can get away with taking away from people. And if things can be established, like if it can be established that you could take away this right, guess how many other amendments that they can practice taking away? You know what I'm saying? Like, just imagine, I'm saying, just think diabolical for a minute. Like, okay, if I can get away with that, then I can get away with this, and I can get away with that. And it just eventually filters down and into where everybody has no autonomous rights.
I
And it's
totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, I
so
was
it's
telling
it's
my
a
daughter
practice,
that.
right? So God, well, whoever you believe in, whomever, whatever spirit you believe in, okay, that's more powerful than anything. For whatever reason, it was revealed to us that that was a secret, right? Because we wouldn't have known if it didn't leak out that people were contemplating taking away Roe versus Wade. And we know that because that was an established right for 50 years, what makes us think that people aren't diabolical enough to see what else they can get away with taking away rights from? Because we all know that rich people like servants. We all know that rich people like obedient servants, right? So it would be in their best interest, the powers that be, to figure out a way to slowly trickle down the conditioning of a mindset of subjugation and submission. You know, like it's a trickle down effect that playing with us in such a slow boil matter. Before we know it, we're the cooked frog, okay? And we have to take everything that they do that's backwards seriously. That's my point. Whenever our legislation is doing something backwards, take that seriously, because that's an attempt to turn up the heat, to boil us, okay? And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Be aware. We're distracted by this KS stuff and arguing amongst each other. It's important for us to have two different interests: defending our positions as virtuous women, as well as making sure that our rights increase as opposed to decrease. Okay? And that's what I would say as my last words, other than it's it's not a foreign concept that the most common everyday spontaneous reactions in life, right? Um they consist of a reaction, right? Like when something confronts you, or I'm just generally speaking, whenever something confronts a person, there's an opportunity to react or contemplate. And a lot of us are reactionary, and that hasn't served us thus far. And I would encourage us to deal wisely, not only with them, whoever them may be, but with ourselves as well. Okay. And that's all I have to say. I'm going to be quiet. Thank you.
Well, you know what? You had so many good points that you made, and me and Goldie was talking about a lot of these things earlier. And so, as time moves on, we're going to do some streams about those things, because I totally agree with you that we're being distracted. They got us looking left. and there's some stuff going on right, and by the time you figure it out, it might be too late. And we as black women, given the condition that we're in, a lot of our households are single mothers. Are we talking about how we embarking on this impending war? Are we talking
I'm
about
laughing
something
at Karma
water?
Justice.
What she say? Tell you people.
You see that banner down? Why why you do that, Goldie, distracting us like that?
Okay, got me looking to the left.
I'm sorry, y'all. He just needs to know, y'all. I see. I'm telling y'all, when you ignore them, they ramp it up. You gotta call them out every time.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's true, Gold.
What were you saying, Cherie?
Oh, I was just saying, I always say too, people say, I play chess, not checkers. And I'm like, yeah, but the European, he playing both sides of the board.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you got to make your next move your best move. You're not even looking at it. But what I was saying was that with all this going on globally, to Mella's point, as black women, we have to start having panels where we're talking about coming together. What are we doing for each other? Are we
Mhm.
helping each other with school supplies for the kids, uniforms, whatever we need? Are we, even if you don't have any money to give or donate, are you just putting out the information that you have? You know, are people looking into solar panels, solar generators? What would happen if you live in the northern half of this country and our grids went down in the winter?
Lord have mercy.
I just think that, to
Thank
be honest,
you,
I'm sorry.
Angie. Go ahead.
Yes. So I just wanted to say, in a topic of, um, I think when one mentioned about black supremacy, I think that, honestly speaking, supremacy in any form is dangerous, and especially like when you're talking about black supremacy, especially with what has happened with the
You
manosphere.
realize that I actually, and it's nice to meet you, by the way, respectfully.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure I'm clear that I inferred that the WS word
Hmm.
should be eradicated by our speech and replaced with fragility.
Oh yes.
And it's dangerous for us to assert black supremacy. That is a dangerous thing for us to do because we're not in a position to assert that.
Yes, that's yes, and I just wanted to expound on that.
Okay, thank
That
you.
yeah, sure. That with what happened with what's going on with the manosphere, the black sector, they really want to they want to be in the other groups of manospheric people. They want to have their whip, so to speak. Like they want to transfer whatever power that they have and then have it into them, and then unfortunately use it to abuse us, the toxic side. That's what they do, which is why it's very dangerous. What we should do is work within ourselves. And I like how FYF um, discuss how how there needs to be accountability for the men as well as the some for the women. So if we can work on looking into the reflection back at us, work on empowering us instead of trying to uh, try to view ourselves as superior to other people, especially to our own people, meaning that we just only want to capitalize from whatever narrative, whatever talking points, and it can be a disgusting talking point, but if we can just break away from that, if we can just set the time to really just question things, question the motives of things, then we will be able to really see the errors of not only other people's ways, but also our ways for intaking all of that. And seeing that this is not worth it, and we need to have viable solutions that will serve us and that will serve generations after us. So if we can just come to that resolve, the community will eventually be in a better place, and then lo and behold, we may have better high quality, not just high value, but high quality leaders that actually will love us, that will protect us, that will provide for us, you know. So everything has to start within, and then it will flourish from without. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm gonna drop down, but um,
It was good to meet you.
it
Yeah.
was
I,
it was
I
good. Mhm.
I would have to say before you leave that it's true that we've been taking look what I can do we've been making look what I can do uh wrong. Like yeah, okay, look what I can do. I'm twerking. Look what I can do. I'm being promiscuous. Look what I can do. I'm dyeing my hair green. Like we're making look what I can do look wrong. And we have to make it look right. That's what I think. But it's
Yes,
good to meet you.
it was great to meet you all, and thank you for having me. And I will definitely come back and support you again the next live. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
All right.
much for coming. I
Uh,
really appreciate it. And
okay. Bye.
I'll set that notification bell so that y'all can be notified when we go live again. And
Like,
y'all come up.
subscribe, and share the channel.
Yes, thank you,
It
Megan.
was nice to have met her. I
Me
know how to speak correctly when I concentrate on it, but
too.
off the cuff, because I've been in these spaces for several years, I have to remind myself how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I love her perspective, and she just listened to everybody say their thing. At first, I thought she,
She's a patient beauty, isn't she? She's a
yeah,
patient beauty.
but I saw she was putting some comments in the back chat. I'm like, okay, she's just sitting back there listening. All right, so please feel free to come back, okay, Angie. Um, so yeah, anybody else have anything else they want to add? If not, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. And I'll be back like soon so I can holler at y'all. I got so much stuff to talk about. So if anybody don't have anything else to say, then I would like for y'all to set that notification bell so that you will know what time I'll be coming on tomorrow if I'm coming.
Um, I have one more thing to say.
Okay.
Um, um, I think it's great that that the divestment thing is out there. And and on some of their channels they said they tell black women to vet all men. And what I am happy is that, well, I won't be able to make the march that's in August on August the 27th, because on that because on that Monday I will have to work. But I'll be watching y'all from DC, because yeah, this um this behavior that black men are showing, and the videos I saw that black men killing black women, you know, it it hurts me, because now I fear for my sister Rebecca, because of this rhetoric going on from the manosphere. And you know, if the FBI comes out and says um that yes, black women are getting killed, and men who look like them are killing them, it, the black manosphere and the pygmishas and the mammies can say, oh, it's the white supremacists um data that they have, they can say all of that, but at the end of the day, facts don't care about their feelings. So
Well stated. Well stated. Absolutely. Like the violent ideations that are being perpetrated in these black spaces have to cease. Well stated. Thank you. It's
And
nice to meet
thank you so much,
um,
Alexander, for coming through. I love when you come to the panel and just share your perspective. I really appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us for a little while tonight. But with what you were saying, that's the main reason why I say that we just can't ignore these black men and just like date out and think that the problem will be solved. We don't have to date them, but we have to address them because, like Alexander was just saying, they are a detriment to every facet of society. And when we think about the train thing that happened just the other day,
you.
most of the people on that train were not black people, you know, so just
Yeah.
ignoring them is not gonna work. We gotta call them out and compel them to get their ish together, okay? Um, because
Because it's necessary.
it's necessary. And it's
Goldie, do you know I heard
horrible.
just tonight
Hmm.
a a black man spewing his venom about how black women are indifferent about KS passing on.
Hmm.
He's saying, well, it's almost as if black women are inviting us to hurt them. That's that's paraphrasing, but basically it's the assertion that they're interpreting that we're provoking violence.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And that's how twisted these minds are with when it comes to that particular guy. They're calling him a hero. Did you know that? They're calling him a hero.
Hmm.
What is heroic about what he's done? Nothing. And so, guys have also asserted that, well, we haven't had a chance to say what we feel for years. And now that we're saying what we feel, black women hate it. No, we don't hate it. You hate us. It's evident by what you're saying.
Hmm.
And we're not going to sit back and allow that.
Hmm. The delusion. I just don't get it. And um
Well,
it's
they're sick. They're
yeah.
medically ill. Like half of them got all types of medical conditions that disrupt their brain neurotransmitters and how to be sensible.
Hmm.
They're sick.
Hmm.
Well, I think that was a really good point to end it on. Nice to meet you, Alex, that he made, because I wanted to get to that too about the march and black women loving black women. It's not a, you know, um, to Goldie's point, yeah, we do have to address them,
Hmm.
but we don't want to make every day, about what they're doing. What are we doing? What are we doing positive for each other to show
Good
each other
point.
love?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And lift each other up and help raise the next generation, sister to sister,
Mhm.
build that network. But I know Goldie is sleepy and
Girl, you hear me over there? Um,
you like,
All right.
yeah.
Bye, bye, y'all. I'll talk to you all sooner than later.
all right, I'll
Peace and blessings.
see y'all
Peace,
around and
peace.
hit that notification bell so y'all can catch us live again. Thank you so much, FYF, for sharing. Thank you for all his friends that came through. If y'all are not sub to the channel because it goes down over here. All right. And yeah, y'all have a good night. I want y'all to remember that your love is golden. All right. Bye.
bye.
Bye.